All right, everybody. We got my man Isaac Diggs, man. What's going on, dude?
Not much. How you been?
Dude, you know, just living, trying to get this podcast to kick off.
Hey, bro, it's badass to see people our age just doing fucking thing.
Right, dude. I love seeing you make these shirts, dude. I love how you have like a. Oh, dude.
Your hoodie.
My hoodie. Man, I'm gonna have to open it.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna have to open it,
Go
dude.
for it.
Yeah, dude, I love seeing this stuff, dude. And it's that I keep watching you like make these and stuff on your Snap. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got the back. Hell yeah, dude. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, I see you working hard on this stuff, man.
Shit.
It looks like hard work,
You
man.
would not believe how many hours I put into that back.
I can tell because I see like on your snaps, you're like I'm working my ass off, and I'm seeing like, well, I knew everyone was gonna like jump on your back with this stuff for one, because like just seeing. Well, okay, I'll start with this. When I hit you up, like first off, we've had great conversations, like at at JUCO and stuff, just talking about politics and just bullshit.
All of it.
But so it was sophomore year, bro. I remember.
Dude,
You don't
you
remember
have to
this?
tell me
I'm gonna
what-
tell you. Okay, remember when? And I'm gonna get this wrong. 2 bombings happened. We were in a history class, whatever.
Okay.
I always forget which year is which, right?
Yeah.
So 2 bombings happened. One was Paris and one was some other country, like Haiti or something. Some terrorist attack happened, right?
Man.
Right.
It's been a fat minute.
It's been a fat minute, right? So I that's why I don't remember. I remember one was Paris, right? And I remember in class, like, and this is, look, I was raised in a pretty conservative family, but when I got to high school, I started thinking for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the time where, like, I never even thought of like politics and like anything relating to social justice or anything like that, right? Well, in class, someone said, well, why is everyone paying attention to Paris and not this country? And you had the balls to, in front of all these people, to be like, well, because they're white. And I was like,
Oh, I'm dead.
I was like,
yeah, that's.
but
me.
like, here's the thing: the way you said it, I was like, damn, he has a point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, dude,
that's how the media is. Like, they'll portray us as some fucking beasts.
Right.
Some
thugs, right?
Little plug.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of fucking thugs.
Right.
But when white people are attacked and all this shit in any fucking way,
Yeah, dude.
the targeter or whatever they're always on the big screen. It's crazy.
Right. Well, that's what, like, when you said that, and like I said, I
That's so funny.
I remembered it because I was like,
changed.
right. Well, the way you said it, like it hit me in a way that, like, and everyone's gonna get like offended or just not even just offended, be like thrown off board,
Right.
especially when you talk about race, right? Because that's like one of those subjects that, like, it gets so tense when people talk about it, which
Right. I think that's getting better these days, though.
I think, especially with podcasts, dude,
Right,
especially.
yeah.
No, I think it is getting better. You're right, but like, I mean, around that time, it was definitely not a time that I feel like people were comfortable
Right,
talking
yeah.
about that. And when you said that, I was like, I remember I was just like, I kind of like, it's like I woke up for a second. I was like, man, he's like, you can't even argue with that. Like, he has a valid point. So that is like one, like, and that was when I barely knew you, right? So that was one outlook I had on you that I was like, man, that dude really speaks up,
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know what it is. I think it's a mixture of like my background and just I kind of like grew up the misfit kid, you know. I'm like half black, half white, so I'm too white for the black kids, too black for the white kids.
Right.
I just kind of do my own thing, and so when it comes time to speak up, I feel like it sucks because as black people, like, that kind of has to be our job right now.
Right.
In any case that we can, to portray our perspective.
Right.
Because some people, what am I trying to say? There are...
Let it all out, bro. I'm here to see your perspective, bro. You know what I mean?
When I'll tweet about, like, there is an exhaustion that sleep cannot fix
Uh-huh.
for me and for many black people, and that is this mental shit, this weight that is on everyone, where we're kind of seen as like, I've had people DM me with questions about social justice and like
Right.
how I feel about this and that and this magic scenario or whatever, and we're like tagged as like, especially people that like me that have a lot of white friends, I'm like a fucking spokesperson for all black people.
Right.
I'm half black, bro.
Right. You're like,
you're my best fucking bet. Like,
right.
DM somebody else.
Right.
But I do feel like it's important for us when we can to speak out on those things, because we have a perspective that a white person's never been black for a single day, let alone every day of their life.
Right.
And yes, we learn how to strive in our environments and all that, but it's like, you know, the South Park game that came out?
Yeah, where like the
set the
darker you
difficulty
are,
by
it's the
your
difficult.
race.
Yeah.
It's something that you can kind of look past as funny, but that shit is fucking genius.
Right, it was. I love South Park, dude.
I do too.
I've been
I
watching
don't watch
it.
enough, but I know I've seen some clips, and they're on the present shit really nice.
They are. Well, it's funny because what I like about that is like South Park. For one, I've been watching it since I was a kid, which I probably shouldn't have. But I had older brothers, you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But here's the thing is like, you know, first off, you know, okay, well, you know how many people who are on both sides of any spectrum you want to think of watch South Park, and it's like
they'll cut into anything.
They'll cut into everybody. Everybody gets
even
it.
The in between.
Yeah, even the in between. Everyone gets it.
Everyone gets the smoke.
Yeah, exactly. They're dissing everybody, and it's like, it's just like reality. You know what I mean? And it's like, you could watch it. You know, I'll have people that like, oh yeah, I like South Park, but then they'll watch it and then they won't like a certain part. I'm like, I feel like you don't like it.
They're mindlessly consuming it.
Right. Well, I feel like not even only that, they only like it when they're making fun of like what they don't like, and then when it makes fun of them, they're like, I don't really like it. Yeah. Like
mean,
like the they took our jobs episode, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that one. Like, I don't know.
They get it on everybody. It's awesome. They do a really good job of that, because there's a lot of shows that are like polarized one way or the other, or try to completely stay away from like the real world and just laugh about farts and shit.
Right. Which they kind of do, but it's like there's
they do it
everything is
they balance it perfectly, because they have a lot of dumb shit that you could be like, what?
Well, it's like smart shit disguised as dumb shit, right? Yeah. Well, dude, have you watched this show? I think it's on Hulu. Have you seen Woke?
I have not.
It is great, dude. It's a really good show.
I'm not a huge TV person, I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
My attention span is just not for it.
Yeah, I think you told me that when we went to go see Joker. You're like, I don't really.
Hey, that was badass though.
Right.
That movie was crazy.
That movie was wild. It reminded me of, dude. It was like a school shooter anthem, is what it felt like, dude.
Somebody said that that movie was like Billie Eilish for boys.
Yeah. Dude, I know. I saw that. I was like, it's kind of like
spot on.
You know, it's weird because you know people like that who they don't really get accepted because they have some difficulties of just being in society, like talking to people. Yeah, like they just kind of got social issues, right? And then like you see them get mad or snap, and like they like took that and made it into the Joker, and I was like, wow.
I want to go back and watch it again. I only saw it that one time.
Right.
That's a badass movie.
It was a bad. You know, it's the same director as The Hangover.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, bro.
That's actually crazy.
Was.
That's hilarious.
Well, and it was the same director, and the producer is Martin Scorsese, which I don't know if you know Martin Scorsese. Yeah. He did like all the like mafia movies back in the day. Well, but Woke is a really good show, and the reason why is because so I was watching this podcast. It was Bill Burr and Snoop Dogg. You like Bill Burr or watch Bill Burr? Okay. Yeah. Well, I think Bill Burr is hilarious. But, and, you know, sometimes, like I said, I'll be watching, like, you know, a black comedian with white people, and then they get mad because the black comedian says something about white people.
Right.
Well, a lot of times I'll think it's fun. I'm like, well, dude, it's just jokes. Like, they're just bash. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to take
There's one thing I got to fucking say. There's a difference, because there's some people that will get offended by race jokes no matter what.
Right.
like no matter who
Particularly
it's by,
white women,
where
right?
it's from. we ain't gonna get into that, but oh god, they've been my kryptonite.
They're kryptonite.
But
They're your
some
kryptonite.
of them,
Some of them, right?
We
I
got
feel
the
you.
cool ones, but there's a fucking difference between racist jokes
Right.
and race jokes,
Right.
and that's something that people don't fucking get. Like, they will bypass every part of their brain that understands the humor in it,
Right.
and then be like, I'm just fucking mad.
Right.
Even especially people getting offended for other groups, that shit pisses me off more than anything else, because it's like, you're mad about some shit that you've never experienced, you don't know what it's like, and we're not mad at all. You know?
Right.
Like, black people are usually pretty good about taking jokes.
Right. Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, some of the best comedians are black. You know what I mean? I mean, that's, you know.
Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle.
Oh, Dave Chappelle's my number one, dude.
Yeah,
Dave
I
Chappelle
agree.
and
Dude.
Eddie Murphy. I watched
Man.
Delirious and Raw. Have you ever seen Delirious? Dude, I watch it like every
my
day
God,
when it
yeah.
came on Netflix, and I was like, and some of the stuff he said, I was like, man, he could not get away with saying this stuff like
Not anymore.
nowadays.
Dude, isn't that crazy to look back on? Like, there is so much content that if it was produced today, they would be murdered.
Right, they'd be
Murdered.
cancel.
I like Dave Chappelle, though, because he still pokes at that shit.
Yeah.
And he still gets some negative feedback, but he's a fucking legend, so
right.
you can't.
He doesn't care. Well, and it's like, Dave Chappelle does it in a way where, like, I think it's because he always never cared about what people thought. So,
Right.
like, you know, and then you got
He
some
turned down
comedians.
40 million, like,
Right, exactly.
He's just that dude.
Well, I mean, it's like, and then you got, like, Kevin Hart on the other hand, who, like, cares a little more. I know it's a little toasty out there.
I love this weather, though.
I know, I love it. That's why I was like, I want to put this on, but I'm like, I know I'm going to be freaking hot as hell.
Definitely about to skate it.
Right. But, like, you got, like, Kevin Hart who cares, like, way more about his image, you know what I mean, than Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, when that whole, like, he made a gay joke, like, years
I hate
ago.
that shit so much,
Oh,
bro.
that pissed me off. He made a whole documentary of apologizing.
See, he's smart. Like, I feel like he's on more the business side of comedy.
For sure.
He's like the Drake of stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
where, like, you could see Dave Chappelle is like a Kendrick Lamar or some shit. Where he's like an artist and he does whatever the fuck he wants. But I hate to see these people I look up to, like, fall so low to these, like, not allegations because it happened, but bro, that is so long in the past.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me, bro. Judge a person by the person they are. Like,
Right. Well, it's just like, yeah, exactly. Like,
you try to dig up something on anybody, you'll find it. Like,
Right.
I guarantee you, if I make it, when I make it big one day,
I like that attitude.
they'll fucking dig shit up from now or 2 years ago or whatever
Right.
the fuck. Find
Right.
some way to take something out of context, make a headline.
Right.
You know, like.
And that's what only people read is the headlines. They never look into it. You know what I mean? They always read I actually got into an argument with someone like that who just is a headline reader and wants to cancel everybody. And Kevin Hart was one of them. He's like, I couldn't watch it because he was punching down on gay people. I was like, dude, you really
He said
think?
he had one tweet.
Yeah, it was one.
There was one tweet about his kid being gay or something.
Right. Well, and it was the joke where he's like, "Hey, stop! That's gay." You remember that joke? Yeah. Well, it was like, dude. Okay, first off, I guarantee you, he never like. You really think he really just sits down and like, "Oh, I hate gay people." Like, no, he's just joking.
You can see it in his humor too. Like,
Right. And he
you
loves
have to be-
everybody.
You have to be the kind of person that's never watched his comedy to be like,
like,
He
I'm
hates gay
I'm tired of this.
I semi-understand it if it was today that he said shit like that, because
Right.
people do just have to be more cautious now, and the
100%.
world is changing. But like, digging that shit up, man, it's.
Well, it's just pointless, especially if they're a good person. Like, you see Kevin
He's
Hart.
such a good, like, he is helping every community that he
Right.
can and giving
Right.
back every moment.
Right, 100%. And not only that, like, you see him on podcasts, interviews. He's just joking around. You see him with I don't watch basketball, with like the commentators of the NBA. He's clowning all of them. All of them are having a good time and laughing. Like, he's just a good dude. You know. And I get like. And that's the thing with comedy is, like, you go into a joke, like, even if you do, it is a bad joke and you do offend people, you never actually meant to offend people.
They're on a stage, dog.
Right.
Like, they are performing.
Right. Give them a break. There's 1,000 people, more than that, in front of them, and it's like, you know. But to what I was saying, the show woke was with the Bill Burr thing. Bill Burr said when he was a kid he'd watch comedians all the time, right? And that's why he got into comedy. And he said like his favorite comic ever was like Richard Pryor, right? And he said like, but before Richard Pryor, he would watch like he'd go into comedy clubs like when he was a kid and stuff like that, and he watched black comics. He said the way that they said it, he felt like they made fun of white people, but like they did it in a way where he felt like they didn't like him, so he didn't find it funny. Right. So that's what he was saying is like, but then when you hear like guys like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, all these like really great comedians, he says they're doing it in a way that it's like, well, he made a joke. He's like, even though I probably needed to hear what the guy had to say, he's like, I probably definitely needed to hear it, what the guy had to say, but it just, the way he delivered it, it just felt like, oh man, I just
being a dick.
Right, it felt like he just being a dick, which
Right.
they probably didn't mean to, but that's how he felt. But then he goes, but you know, you got Richard Pryor, which like just will bash white people, but it's freaking hilarious.
It's genius, yeah.
Right, it's genius,
It's just about
yeah.
controlling that. Because there are some people that get on stage with genuine anger.
Right.
And, like, there's no way you can control that. You're just going to come off as a dick.
Right.
When, like, they just had a bad day where somebody was interacted with them as if they're less than a person or whatever.
Right, so they take it out on stage.
But those bigger dudes, they figure out the formula and really cater those jokes to the right people so that you still get the message. You're like, okay, yeah, you're right.
Right.
But it's still not like, oh man, you fucking asshole.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the thing with comedy is like, it's always like to be broadened so that way everyone understands your message. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when you broaden it to where, and this goes for anybody, like, you know, to just anybody trying to get a message across. Like when you broaden it like that, it gets people who don't understand you, right? And then it hits you like that's what I was saying with the show Woke, which I think is a genius show, is fucking hilarious, dude. And I don't really know any of the actors in it. I know, I don't know any. They're like really young actors, so.
Is it animated or?
Partially.
It's
So
okay.
the whole premise of it is.
I do know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like
I've
an
seen ads
artist.
for it,
Yeah, he's an
It does look
artist.
good.
Yeah, it's a very good show. Like he gets. Basically, what happens is he's like, his friend is like telling him like, dude, you gotta watch out for like all this bullshit around you. And he's an artist, so like when he hands out stuff, people will think it's more of a message like to deal with like racism and stuff. And he's like, no, why does it have to be dealt with that? Like not everything's about racism.
Right.
Well, then he gets profiled by a cop in the show. And then he wakes up, is like, wait, what the fuck? And then like all these like, it's funny, like there will be like a cereal box talking to him, be like, this fucking racist motherfucker's about to say, and he like starts to realize all the subtle like racist shit around him.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And but like it was just like, and it goes with like what Bill Burr said. Like, I mean, in the show, like, I mean, watching it as a white dude, like obviously they're making fun of white people the whole fucking time, but there's not a minute that I'm like, you know, like, yeah, I don't like this stuff. Like, you know, like, because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And it makes you sit there and realize, like, they do a good job, like, the producers and whoever wrote the show, and even the actors, they just do a good job at, like, no, this is what we're trying to say. Like, this is what you think we're saying, right? But this is what we're trying to say. And I think it does a good job at that, like, I don't know. And that's the one thing big about podcasts and like with Facebook and stuff. You know, you can make a tweet and then someone who doesn't share your views or maybe does share your views just reads it and totally misunderstands the tweet versus talking in person as people.
Dude, we lose that so hard with technology. Like, it's crazy how much communication goes on without ever opening your mouth.
Right.
And, dude, I will say this to anyone, I fucking hate texting.
Yes.
I fucking hate Snapchat. I hate all that shit. Call me on the phone. That's cool, because it's closer to a face-to-face experience. But like, especially with females, bro, I cannot be asked to text conversations and shit like.
Dude, well, it's like your whole day, right?
Dude, and you're
Yeah.
thinking about like, did she mean it like this or
Yeah,
is she
yeah.
like,
Wait, hold on. What is she trying to really say?
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of
I
confused
I
right
be
now.
overthinking everything. That's just my nature. So I'm like, I don't even know where I am. Should I slip an emoji in there to get this? But like, it's probably we're learning hieroglyphics to try to convey emotions on
Right.
this shit. Like,
Well,
it's
have you ever
stupid.
seen that Key and Peele skit where like they're texting each other and they're one's at a bar, like one's at home, and it's like I'll be there in a minute, and he's like, "What this motherfucker?" Like he keeps saying like he keeps like getting offended by everything because you're like
I haven't seen it,
misunderstanding.
but-
It's hilarious because like he keeps texting him stuff, and it sounds like something that would be taken out of like the totally wrong way, but he's just like the other one's like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, be there in a minute,"
Yeah.
and it's like, "Be there in a minute." He's reading it like. Why is he put a period at the end of this? What is he trying to say? Like, are you pissed off?
Bro, you
But
put a
that's so
capital
true.
letter in front of the text. You must mean that shit.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
bruh.
Well, but sometimes you do read a text, you're like, man, I feel like he kind of came at me a little sideways, or
Yeah,
she
no,
came
for
at me a
sure.
little sideways. But then you realize, oh, well, they were just real quick texting
Dude.
her. If anything, I piss people off because I'm so like, yeah, whatever, and then I just
Yeah.
send my shit.
I learned that shit from my dad because he is the most like raw texter. He'll text me like, he called me the other day and I couldn't pick up. I was like, I got a friend over. I'll call you back tomorrow. He's like, remind me to ask you a question. I was like, oh God.
What's
could
the
it be?
question?
I'm thinking about all this shit. Like, what have I done? What did I do wrong? Blah blah blah. And he's like, he just wanted to ask me which Apple Watch he should buy because I
Oh,
do a lot
man.
of research on that kind of shit. I was like, why did I stress about this every fucking time?
Right.
I'd be stressed about these potential dangers or potential evils
Right.
that mean nothing because I'm just like, read a text.
Dude, I've noticed that once I got out of high school, like I will because we have more shit to worry about now that we're out of high school. You know what I mean?
Y'all,
So
any
yeah,
high schoolers watching this, y'all don't even fucking
dude.
know.
The minute you get out, you're
I
like,
feel like they grew a little bit this year because of the online shit.
yeah, but that's
And-
like,
oh my
dude,
God,
I would
bro.
hate for that. That had to suck. I wouldn't make
I
it to
even feel bad
class.
for the college kids that are in that shit.
I know, dude.
I took a semester at least off because I
Yeah.
refused to do online shit.
Right. I did one online class, but like I had to show up, and I had a super old teacher. I had to show up like only
They're
once a
still
week.
learning the technology.
They're still.
and
I
shit.
turned my shit in,
Oh my God,
and I
bro.
told him like, "Hey man," he was like, "Oh, what?" I turned it in, and then it wouldn't like he wouldn't accept it. It was some weird. I don't know. But I come in, I'm like, "Hey dude, like it didn't turn in." You know what I mean? And he goes, "Yeah, no, I just think you were late." I was like, "No, dude, it really wouldn't turn in." And we had a
That's
full
not like a matter of opinion.
Right, that's what I was about to say. I was like, well, we had
I
a full
think-
10-minute conversation, and then someone backed me up. Someone came in and was like, oh, that happened to me too. And I was like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, fuck you.
Oh
You
my
just.
God,
Well, I had to
bro.
teach him how to turn on his monitor the first day. He was a funny ass old man. Like, he was
Bro,
a
I
fucking.
feel so bad for these teachers that work their ass off to get into the position that they want to get in,
Right.
and now they're fucking administering Zoom calls.
Right. Oh, I
Like
know.
you're watching kids fall asleep. They're watching.
Right.
Bro, I love more than anything else right now the videos of like class Zoom calls where some kid like there's some fucking weird shit going on. Like I saw one the other day. There's probably a classroom of like second graders, and this kid's mom, butt ass naked, walks into frame, and the teacher's like, "Turn off your camera, turn off your camera." But they don't know what the fuck they're doing,
Right.
so the camera's still going.
I'd
and
be
it's-
like, hey, Jennifer, you're looking good today. Well, is the mom at least good looking?
No.
Oh, damn it. That would
No.
suck. That would suck if you had a hot mom and then she did walk in front of the camera. Then you'd be like clowned for life by all your
Dude.
friends.
Every group of friends got that one where they're like, "Hey, I don't mean to say this, but your mom's fucking bad."
Yeah, like, hey, dude, what's your mom doing this weekend? Shut up. Is your dad out of town on a business trip? Well, like you say with like, I think that's their generation, like your dad texting, because like, dude, my dad
No, they
does
don't
the
give a
same
fuck.
thing. My dad,
They ain't got
first-
the energy to give a fuck.
Yeah, they
There's
don't.
no
well, my
reason.
dad's 62, so
damn.
my dad's old,
Yeah,
man, and
old school.
he like will just be like putting letters in wrong. Like he doesn't. First off, he has fat sausage fingers. He just doesn't. He types.
I
What
love
the
seeing
hell?
that shit.
Yeah, and he has his glasses on, and he's trying to like clicked the. I'm like, dude, just call me, man. And then he can't hear, so when I talk to him on the phone, he's like, what? I have to put him on speaker and talk to him on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I have to put my ear up to it so he can actually hear me. Like, it's crazy, but no. Oh man, what were we kind of got off the rails there, didn't
I don't know. I feel like our parents in that generation, like, they had an interesting experience where they grew up, like, they already grew up, and then the age of the internet started. Like, none of this shit existed for most of their life, and then slowly, and then a little bit faster, and then really fucking fast, things start improving technologically. And for us, we grew up with this resource. We're the first generation.
It's so natural to us
to grow up with this insane resource. So for them, it's like there's like a loss in translation between whether it's messages or whatever.
Right.
For us, it's so natural because
it's like second nature.
Yeah. We have this incredible tool, but right now, of course, we just use it for social media and like diminishing our self-value and shit
yeah, for sure. I thought you were gonna say pornography for a second.
I mean, that's part of it,
and that
too.
is a big thing.
Dude, there's so many. That's something that I thought about. Like, I think about this shit all the time. We have this insane resource, but like, say our phones, for example. Most of the time, like, if you look at when I look at my time usage, which I'm glad they added that, but also it pisses me off because it makes me realize how much of a shit I am. It's mostly like social media, text messages, and then like music and like some utility.
Right.
There was a while you knew me when I had the Nokia, right?
Yeah.
So after that, that was kind of like, I think I had it for 2 months, and after that, I naturally saw my phone as a tool instead of like a playground to distract from reality. So I didn't have, like, I think I just had Instagram or some shit, and like camera, music, use it as basically an iPod that could text, you know.
Right.
I've fallen back into every fucking crevice of social media since then.
And then you get sucked into it.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's especially tough right now because like I'm trying to promote my stuff and like get people excited, which no matter how it comes off from other people's end, I hate it.
Right, yeah, because
the first person I am hiring, no matter what, it's not a printing assistant or anything like that, is social media management.
Just
so that I can do art, throw it on a shirt, and somebody else is like, all right, this is how we're gonna
promote it.
Put it out there.
And there's some people that skill too of promoting too. Because
I'm
not very good. I'm just like, here's us.
I mean,
boom.
we have to figure it out one way or another. Because like we're not the kids that did 4 years of marketing classes to know their formula on how to increase growth. But I want to do it more like organically. Because right now, the people that buy my shit are people that knew me in high school, people that know me from college,
Right.
It's people that I directly know. And that's how I like it, because I want to put messages on people's backs. And the people that are really going to consume, understand, and go out with that message are people that know the person that I am.
Right.
Because, like, it would be cool to, put $100 into ads and sell 7 extra hoodies or whatever. But they just see it as a cool eye on the back of a shirt.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to build this. It's weird. It's like I'm building a brand consciousness, I guess, where it has its like personality or whatever.
Right.
And trying to portray a message through those things.
So what, like, if you were to say, like for example, with this shirt with the eye on the back, right? And everything, and then of course you got above. What message would you say to convey, or do you want to keep that for the people to understand?
It's mostly for the people to interpret, but the idea of above, the original name was Above the Horizon, and I still kind of use that. Like I used it in the post for that hoodie, but this was my first like brand idea, and for a while I went to the 203 thing,
right.
You
got a stink bug on you, sorry. Oh, shit. It's going to bother me just seeing them on you.
But Above the Horizon, the idea is essentially if there was a way to track the amount of time that your eyes are below or above the horizon line, it would be so heavily weighted down towards below. You know, looking at our phone, looking down because we're down in the shit or whatever.
Right.
And even though, like, what's above the horizon, there's the sky, there's trees, there's the clouds and all that shit, and you can see it as boring. And before college and all that shit, I was like not a nature person at all, and you know, I was like, oh, I'll go outside to run and shit, but other than that, I'm playing video games and all that. But the stuff that goes on above the horizon is the stuff that will always be there, and that it's constantly unique and important to. I don't know. There's even psychology behind looking upwards that will bring you more happiness. But we're so fucking neck broken in these phones, bro.
Dude, it is ridiculous. I hate going to like a social event, and then I'm the only one. Cause I turn my phone off, honestly, unless there's something crazy I want to snap. And in general, I don't have a big problem leaving my phone on and being with people.
Right.
But
some people.
I look around and I'm like, you know, either drinking or even if not drinking, just looking around like, hey, okay, well, everyone's on your fucking phone. I don't know what's so important when we could be having a dope conversation, or could be just be playing a game or doing something cool.
We're fucking lost, bro. Like, we are generationally so addicted to these things.
Right.
Like, have you seen on Netflix The Social Dilemma?
Dude,
I recommend it.
Is it that good?
Yeah,
I keep wanting to watch it, but I feel like it's gonna keep me up. And I got work
I
at 4 in
can't
the morning.
even cap. It's
right?
It's one of those, like, did you ever watch Black Mirror?
Yes,
dude. I've seen every episode. That shit genuinely fucked me up for a while. Because I was so scared of the future.
Yeah.
Because that shit's real. Like, any of those circumstances seem possible.
Yeah. The the fucking the Mortal Kombat one. Dude, I was like, wait a minute. So
they had a curveball in that one.
Yeah, they had a curveball in that one, or the one where the dude is making him do all the stuff because he saw him online. You know what I'm talking about? That one, I was like,
bro,
you guys are cut. Like, they do not give a fuck. They're like, yeah, I know this
and
disturbs
they'll
you.
do incredible plot twists. I remember the one where, like, this woman at the end, it's revealed that she, like, did some horrible crime or some shit, and she just, like, wakes up out of nowhere and is in this situation, but really the whole time everybody's actors, everybody's watching, and it just this, like, cycle of torture. It's fucking crazy, bro. That show is
I don't know if I've watched that one. I watched the dating one too. That one was kind of trippy.
Oh yeah,
that one was kind of just weird. It was like kind of like, I mean, I get what they were trying to say, but
that was the kind of episode where I was like, I'm gonna uninstall Tinder.
Right.
And then reinstall it in another one.
Right. I know. It did have a big thing. I know, dude. I didn't realize how many of these fucking things. You know, it's so funny. They don't show up on camera, so it looks like we're just fucking like, we're just, ghost. But, dude, no. I hate social media. I hate the media in general, man.
Dude, one of the things in that documentary that blew my mind, they said that fake news spreads 6 times faster than real news.
Well, yeah, because it's like something catchy. Well, I believe that. And then you see someone.
Think about how fucked up that is. Like, if everybody is consuming 6 times more, I guess that's not the direct statistic. Like, it wouldn't translate over. But if everybody was consuming 6 times more bullshit than they are real shit, nobody lives in reality.
Right, and
everybody's in their own fucking their ecosphere, or what echo chamber.
Right.
Where their ideas are portrayed and excelled, and other ideas are shit on. Like, everybody's in their own fucking universe.
Well, and that's another thing is with, I feel like it's hard to talk about stuff like that has to do with your t-shirt or what the messages you're trying to convey. Just social justice and anything that deals with race, religion, politics, whatever. It is so hard. It is so hard to, like, talk about that stuff because we're all like, yep, nope, this is the right thing right here. Yep, nope, I got it. Yeah.
All right, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I saw the headline. It's like, no, talk to people so that way you can understand better their perspective, and then you can have your own perspective. Until then, you don't really have a perspective.
Right.
You have a phone. you know?
Yeah.
And it's stupid.
Social media warriors, bro.
Yeah, yes, it used to be what, social justice warrior. Now it's social media warriors.
I feel like they're two different things.
Oh, they are two different
It's like
things.
a Venn diagram. Like a lot of social justice are on social media, but there are the people that are just like, just fucking Twitter fingers, no trigger fingers.
Right.
Like, you won't say that shit in person. Don't
Right.
say it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Well, and that's another thing with like, I got this at in high school where there were the people that were extreme from this side and this side, and I would talk to them, and like a lot of times, sometimes they'd be really nice people, but I would talk to them, they'd bring up a subject, and they're the type who are so ingrained with social media, like
Yeah.
both sides, right?
You could tell.
Yeah, you could tell, but then when you talk to them about a subject, they get like so triggered, and they don't want to talk about it, they just want to argue, and they don't think they think that they're right the whole time, right? And it's like, I'm just throwing out like an observation or opinion. You don't have to, then they
It doesn't have to
assume
be
something,
fucking
and it's
war.
just, yeah, exactly.
It blows my mind with how like polarized the political parties are. That like people from both sides can't realize that there are genuine ideas from both sides.
Right.
Like if you're so polarized that you think like, I'm on the red team, you're fucking wrong.
Right.
Or vice versa. It's like, actually, we're all just humans, and you just happen to fall on one or the other side of like
Right.
An arbitrary political party that
Right.
doesn't fucking matter.
Right. Well, I always felt like that really I'm feeling it from the right lately. I felt it from the left, like I feel like
these things are.
I know they're
swarming.
wild, dude. I don't know what's
They
wrong
just
with
want
them,
to
man.
get their 15 seconds of fame.
Right, exactly. They're like, get me on. They don't even know what we're talking about. I mean, maybe there's just little sperm-looking things like fucking floating around. But no, what were we saying? Oh yeah, when the last election and stuff trickled down to like a year or two later, I always felt like the tension from like the left really being super extreme. But now, with the whole COVID thing, I'm really feeling it with the right.
Bro.
I'm like, Jesus, dude, just wear a mask and calm down, bro.
It cracks me up. I work at Quick Trip, and one of my favorite things is to just, like, I know it's not good to judge people or whatever the fuck, but I'm gonna judge people. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't. It's a natural thing.
My favorite thing to do is like see somebody walking in and like they either like they got the face mask under their nose, so they're still exposed. Or like the funniest shit that I see is somebody will take their face mask down to sneeze. What the fuck is the point of the
Yeah,
mask?
what is the point of the mask?
Like,
Just
I don't
sneeze
even
in the
need-
mask. You already got this going on. You might as well just sneeze into the mask, right?
Like they could have it over their nose and everything, be hand sanitized, but achoo, what the fuck? Like even if you don't have COVID, you're just a dumbass.
Right.
Oh
Well,
my god.
that's the thing.
Bro.
What was weird was, okay, so before this thing started, when it happened, I was sitting here, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be politicized because everything in the fucking world gets politicized, right? And I was thinking, I was like, okay, is it going to be I was like really debating. I was like, who is going to not want to wear the mask? I was like, is it going to be the left? Because like the whole like anti-vaccine thing kind of came from the left for a while. So I was
That's
like
extreme. Though.
that's like
yeah.
the real, and I'm talking extremes. When I say left or right and I'm bashing them, I'm always talking about the extremes. I'm never talking about the general
average,
people who agree with each other, right? So I was like, which one's gonna come from, the far left or the far right? And I was like, kind of like maybe it is gonna be on the far left because, like the whole anti-vaccine thing. But then this whole thing happened, and then Trump did his thing where he's like, oh, we don't need a fucking mask. And then all the people, like family that I have, is like, I don't want to wear a fucking mask.
I
I'm like,
knew it would be that side.
the
like the liberal side wants the government to be like administrating as much as possible to solve problems.
Right.
Conservatives are like, let me just live my fucking life. And
Right.
when you go to the extreme side of that, it's like, I don't need a fucking mask. Coronavirus is not fucking real.
It's not real.
It's bullshit.
I
Do you
can
know
shoot
anybody that's had COVID? No, like, yeah.
Right. Yeah,
actually.
it's like, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I was like, dude, okay, I get it. I get somewhat of like well, I don't want businesses to be shut down. We should, just wear a mask and we'll be okay, right? I get when people come from that on both sides, right? I hear both sides of people saying stuff like that. But, like, when you go to, like, and I'm bashing on the far right now because, like, Jesus Christ, they're like, no, I'm not wearing this fucking mask. I'm like, dude, if you have to, like, it's not that big of a deal just to fucking put a piece of fucking cloth around you
Right.
just to go inside some store. Like, it's really not.
Yeah.
Just do it and then we get this shit over with and then we move on.
Right. My biggest thing is, like, at the end of the day, no matter what the government does, we can't end up controlling those people because they're going to be like, fuck you no matter what. People don't like when this conversation is brought up, but this is natural selection. Like, if you don't want to believe in COVID, and some people, there are a lot of people that'll be lucky and, like, be an asshole about it and still be fine.
Right.
But at some point, these families are going to, like, get COVID or whatever.
Right, and then get sick.
This is what you get for being a fucking dumbass.
Right.
Like, this is not political. You know? It's not this is it was a worldwide problem.
Right.
And now we're like one of the few countries that are still like putting on our diapers and sucking our fucking thumb because we can't figure out
it's really isn't
how to
like
solve this problem.
It's like the mask thing too. Everyone else wore a fucking mask, had no problem with it. But then us, we're like,
and other countries locked the fuck down basically immediately because they know the threat that it is.
Right.
The United States is like, we'll get rid of basketball for a little while and Disney World, and people are like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
It's like what? I was like, it's probably even the people that don't even go to Disney World. I had a plan to go this summer.
This is my year.
I've been saving up
my whole life.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those weird ass things that you're right. It shouldn't be politicized. It's like, dude, just wear a fucking mask, go get your fucking eggs and milk, and then get the fuck out, right? And it's just, I knew right away. I was like, dude, it's sad that something like other countries, like you saw Italy, fucking singing outside of because Italians like to be emotional and sing about their stuff, which is good. They came together as a country, but America's like, fuck you.
We're
fuck
so
you.
fucking polarized, dude.
It's ridiculous. What do you think of the two-party system?
Nope.
I agree. I agree.
See, there's a lot of stuff like shirt-wise that I want to do, but I'm being more strategic about it now. But one of the ones that I want to make is like, the donkey and the elephant, Republican and Democrat. I want to make two sheep in different colors.
That's
that just says a two-party system is never in the benefit of the people. Right. It's impossible.
Well,
it'll always like they want that polarization. They want people bickering and shit because it's easier to control people when
100%
when people are angry and driven by emotion. And I'm on my team, you're on a different team, and fuck you. Right. Even though you're just another human being.
Well, you know what gets me is like when you're let's say you're on the left, right? But you have certain views that might not be with the part. Like everybody has this whole tribalism, right?
Yeah.
And I try to like have my own opinions without any of that,
Isn't
right?
it crazy that that's like a surprising thing to have these days, like your own thoughts.
Well, right.
People don't think for themselves.
It's weird because I talked to this guy and he's very hardcore Catholic, and I was talking to him, and he's like, well, yeah, I'm against abortion just because of my religion. I was like, well, I mean, I get that, but like, how do you feel about it? Oh, I really don't care.
But my teammates
but my teammates said exactly. But my teammates said it's wrong, so I'm gonna have to go. I was like, do you not think for yourself? Like,
people don't.
Like, think of it, dude. Like, just have your own opinion. Like, for example, like, dude, I have a lot of opinions that do stray to the left. Right? And I talk to family members, and they either like, oh yeah, we got the liberal here, and I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever, Uncle Scott, whatever. Anyways, but right, yeah, Uncle, dude, that guy. That guy. But he won't watch my videos, he won't see them. But no, it's true. But like, for example, I'm pretty pro gun, but that's because I was raised around guns Right. So.
I agree with that shit.
Right.
I was not raised around guns, but if there's ever a time to buy a gun, it is right fucking now.
Yeah, no shit. Well, it's kind of weird because a while ago there was a big split for guns. Now, with all the bullshit that's happening, everyone's like, I'm strapping up, dude.
Yeah, dude. Here's the deal. Like, all these protests going on and like people being active about how they feel and this election coming up. Like, if there is a scenario that is along the lines of war, civil war, whatever, whether it's small or massive, the right side is going to fuck all the people that are like,
that is 100%.
We shouldn't have guns.
Right.
It's like, well, it's in the Constitution, which I think is kind of a dumb way to see it, but more than anything else, like,
yeah,
I get the idea that see, this is the part where we get canceled.
Yeah. Oh, I don't do say it. I want to get canceled.
No.
I want to get.
That's what we're here for.
If someone's gonna cancel me, it better be you.
If there's time to get canceled.
It's right now.
No,
I'm not
no,
famous yet.
Yeah.
Because when I am famous, they're gonna gig some shit up I did 3 years ago.
No, this isn't even cancel worthy. Like, if you're scared of the other team because they have big guns, which I will say, like, some of the weapons that the right has, there's no fucking reason. Like,
right.
I understand pistols and like hunting rifles, but when
Right.
you have like AR-15s
ARs,
and
right,
shit,
right.
like,
I see where people come from. That I am white, and I was raised around that, and I
Whoa,
have.
word?
Yeah, are you really? Oh God, shit, no. And I was raised around a lot of people like that, and don't get me wrong. I think that they shouldn't be in the wrong hands. I think you should definitely have strict backgrounds. 100%.
Because that's where all these fucking problems come from, is people that shouldn't have ever been accepted for a gun in the first place.
Well, the thing is with people with pro-gun, and I'm talking about the good people, not the fucking guys. I'm talking about the people who, hey, like, and they're most likely going to be conservative, but they're good people who were raised around guns. They teach their kids how to properly, I was taught properly how to handle a gun. I was taught all this shit. And dude, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a gun guy. I haven't shot a gun in like 6 years, but I was raised around that.
Right,
I know what to do, right?
A logical human being with
But
it.
when you look at these kids that shoot up schools and shit, they might have, but a lot of times I feel like the way that the pro-gun people look at it are like, well, they weren't really raised around guns, like how to properly, like for example, if I would have pointed a fucking Nerf gun at one of my friends, like, unless we were fucking around, like if I would have pointed at an adult's face, I would have got my ass whooped.
Right,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
If I would have pointed a
yeah.
BB gun, I shot my brother with a BB gun one time, and I got my ass whooped. I shot my
Okay.
dad's window out one time, and I got my ass whooped bad.
Yeah.
Bad. That was a bad idea. I wanted to hear glass break, and I did. And then, But the thing is like, you only do something stupid one time. And with a gun, you usually never do, right? Even a BB gun. Like, if I would have pointed my BB gun at anybody as a kid, it would have been over. I would have never saw that gun again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, people, I don't know. I think there's a big mental health problem disguised as somewhat of a gun problem, if that makes sense.
I mean, I feel like that's the root of a lot of the issues.
Right.
Because, like, realistically, obviously, the same person that shot up a school would not be able to do the same thing without a gun. Like, it's not like, I think Chris Rock had a joke about this. Like, you're not going to see a mass stabbing. Because after one or two, you're like, I should probably get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But, it is more of a mental health thing with the people that get their hands on guns. And there's a lot of people that aren't fortunate enough to have, or I guess it's not even fortune, but not in the same situation you are, where you were raised with them.
Right.
But there's still, like, if you can go to Walmart and buy a fucking gun before you can buy beer, without a license, without all this stuff, without training, like, I don't think it has to be a huge conversation. That's where these fucking problems are coming from, you know?
No, I agree with
like,
that.
people should be able to have guns and shit.
Yeah.
But
you definitely
you
need
have to, like,
restrictions, for sure.
if you can put all the money that is going into policing and shit like that into teaching people how to. I guess this is a horrible example because there's a lot of other better things that the money can go to.
No, I'm listening.
But even just the attention, the focus on the importance of people knowing how to use a gun, you're not seeing the same problems.
Right.
You might see, yeah, there will be more shootings in America than Australia because they don't have guns out there.
Right.
But I guess that's just part of living in this funny little country,
Right.
you know.
Well, and it's like, if you do, and I'm all like, I don't think a fucking kid should just get a gun like that. 100%. When I say I'm pro gun, I mean I think you should be taught. I think you should be trained. I think you should have a license, right?
It's so logical.
Yeah.
Dude. It's like this conversation goes back and forth so much, but at the end of the day, one side's trying to completely get rid of guns. That's not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, because people are
with
just gonna
guns
break the
are not
law.
gonna give.
Yeah,
up their
here you
gun.
go.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
And the other side is like, we want to have our guns and we want to have them in the biggest sizes and the fucking.
I have
the
a small
loudest
penis,
fucking-
and it better be big to make up for
I
it.
got a fat ass truck. I got a big ass shotgun. Only buckshots in that mug because I don't give a fuck.
Well, isn't it so weird how every fucking mass shooting is some like suburban white kid? What like
It is.
I try to wrap myself around that because I never see. There's been a few that are like some racist fucking alt-right fucking Nazi ass
Right.
weird ass kid who probably just weird, right? And probably a rural area. But for the most part, I never see these shootings happen with people in the city and people in the country. And I truthfully, if I want to tell you the truth, I feel like it's because those people are more, I don't know, either they get their ass whooped more or they just were disciplined better or what.
Well,
But it's this suburban area that these kids just fucking, I don't know.
I think it has to do again with technology. If I'm being honest, 'cause,
Really?
like, these school shootings weren't a problem until the age of the internet.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And whether it's getting bullied online or like not finding your place online, or on the other side of that, using online as a resource like the dark web to get in these communities that are malicious in one way or another. Like, imagine like one of the kids that went to our high school that you saw every day, but you don't really ever see them talking to anybody. And they're, you know, they do their own thing. They don't talk to anybody when they're at school. They go home and they get fucked over online with messages and shit. And like, say there's a fucking gun. Like, there's that's just, it's a recipe. Like, it's because of this hostile environment that we live into. Like, literally just to live, you have to fucking post your whole life on the internet. And if you don't, you're just, it's so stupid.
Right. Yeah,
But,
and
yeah.
a lot of those people have like the biggest problems where they're posting all the good shit, and then you're like, man, I wish I could do
I mean,
this.
everybody's guilty of that shit, bro. I'll talk
Yeah.
shit on social media all the time, but I can't lie. I'll fucking cater post to certain people and fucking show all the good sides and hide the bad shit and all that. But like, it makes other people think that your life is so good when everybody is dealing with their own bullshit.
Own
Everybody's
battle,
got
for
their
sure.
own trap. Like, nobody wakes up every day and they're like, I'm fucking excited to go to work for 8 hours and then come home and do fucking nothing.
Right.
Or like, I'm excited to go to online class. Like, everybody's got their bullshit.
Right, exactly.
Whether it is like political or racial or just with
getting bullied at
interpersonal,
home or getting
anything,
bullied at, yeah, for
anything.
sure.
Like, there's no person that is treated perfectly and appreciates every fucking grain of life. Like, and that's something that won't be portrayed on social media, because even if there are people that post about the bad stuff, but it doesn't spread. It doesn't get the 100,000 likes and shit like that.
Right.
You know, that algorithm is made to boost up the people that are catering to what other people want to see, and most of the time that's ass and kittens.
Right.
You know, like,
Facts,
it's all the over sexualized, like, all this shit.
This is kind of off topic, but it's back to what we were talking about. Do you think that kids take too much fucking medication and shit?
Dude, Western medicine is a fucking joke.
Right.
Because, like, kids will start on a medication super young and then throughout life develop problems that have to be solved with another medication.
I know a dude.
And that
who,
shit gets stacked the fuck up to where
Right.
they're basically popping 10 different bottles every morning.
Right. And it's, dude, and like I say, it's not even like I've seen it personally, and I'm not even talking about like a middle class neighborhood or just an okay neighborhood. I always see it in these super nice suburban rich neighborhoods where like kids are just parents are just take this, take Adderall, take this.
Yeah, shut the fuck up to take this pill.
Right.
Like, you're being too annoying. You're off of your
Right,
rocker.
and
like that's just how their brain works.
Right, and that's what is so weird because I had a friend like he would take like 10 different medications before he went to bed. I was like, "Hey, bro, you don't need that, bro." You know what I
Dude,
mean? And his
we're
parents
so-
were just shoving it down his throat, like, "No, you have to take it."
We're
and
so far lost off of like, dude, Earth has everything we fucking need.
right,
You know, like we are making these crazy chemicals to make you a little bit more attentive for the next 3 hours or whatever.
right,
But like, I guess we are facing a new problem, which is technology, and everybody in our generation has some form of ADD. You know,
100%.
you can diagnose it like that if you want to and throw Adderall at them, but like
Right.
that's not solving anything.
It's masking it. I know
But,
kids.
yeah,
that
for real.
Took it at such a young age. My mom works in the hospitals, and my mom's like, "No, you're not taking that shit." She's
dude,
like,
it changes the way that your brain works. Like whether you like it or not, the person that you would have been without Adderall is different than the person that you
Right.
would be with Adderall.
right.
Like, and I've taken it before because I'm like, I need to fucking buckle down and
Oh
study for
yeah,
this test.
100%.
Low key, that shit's fire.
It does work. I'm gonna be honest. I
Give me
understand why
5
people
minutes and I'm
take it.
shut the fuck up, just like doing my thing. But it's so weird because like, how the fuck did humans survive for tens of thousands of years without any of this extra like super manufactured? Even in the last 100 years, before basically the last 2 centuries, we didn't have this Western medicine.
Right.
People had teas and herbs and all this stuff.
Look
like,
at other countries too that don't
Yeah.
have shit, and low
try to
key,
put pacemakers in people's hearts and shit. Like you put a
Right.
machine in your body to fix
right.
it,
Well, low,
or throw some magnesium and you're good.
right.
Like just natural earth shit. That's all you need.
Well, you see people who live in countries that they don't have any medicine that we have. They don't have any technology we have. Some of them are way more jacked than us, dude.
Easily, bro.
And they're
They
lifting
live, they
fucking.
live life.
Yeah, they're living life. They're freaking farming, and they have a 6-pack and freaking
And
shredded.
if they do get sick, there's some elder in the village or in the tribe that knows exactly the ointment or whatever the fuck
Right,
they
to-
need.
right.
Make it out of literally raw materials.
Right.
Cook that shit up. Boom. I feel better tomorrow. you
That's
know?
that's one reason why well, for one, I'm a thick boy. Okay, I'm a big boy. I get fat easy. Well, in high school, I used to fast all the time, but I fasted, and I noticed that like with lifting weights and shit like that, the strongest I ever was fasting,
Really.
which is weird. I always
I've
thought
seen
was
that app
weird.
you always post. I'm kind of interested.
Dude, it's badass,
Is
dude.
it?
Well, but you're like
I'm
shredded,
not-
so I
dude.
don't know if you need to do any fasting, but
Bruh, I've been the same fucking weight since senior year.
really.
I've tried. I don't try that hard because I'm doing all this other shit at the
What
same
do you still
time.
run a lot?
No.
No.
honestly,
What
not
what
at
you
all.
did? What did you do? You did in high school. What I
Track
know you did
and
track, but
cross-country.
what did you do with track though?
I did hurdles.
Hurdle. Okay, that's what I thought.
I was in sprints basically.
Okay, yeah.
That shit indefinitely fucked up my knees, if I'm being honest.
Really? Oh, dude, lifting fucked up my back.
Dude,
Bad.
bro.
My dad would make me lift 315, and my dad was a bodybuilder back in the 80s, and he would make me do like 315 when I was like 12 of deadlifting, and I 100% think that is why my back's fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm guessing that has something
That
to do with
might
it.
just. Bro, I remember in weights, especially with the diamond bar, everybody
Yeah.
thought they were hot shit, just fucking like put
And
as
they have
much
the
weight on it.
hunchback.
Yeah,
and
bro,
it's
I
all
did
like,
that
that's
shit too.
not-
I was
that's
like,
not
Mom,
what
I
you
can
do."
deadlift 315 pounds, doing it like
got the yeah, dude.
I got that shit. Though.
Yeah, I still got it. I know.
I'm in pain.
There's
but...
a really big dude who he was at our school for a while and then he left. But I remember seeing him and he was just a naturally big guy. And stocky too, and he freaking picked up like 400 pounds, and he had the hugest hunch, and I was like, "Oh, bro,
Dude,
don't
that shit
do
hurts
that,
to
bro."
watch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But what I was saying with that fasting is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of benefits you could talk about, like your human growth hormone and all that. But when you really think about it, like 600, even 100 years
Mad
ago.
natural.
They were not eating the
3
amount that
meals
we
a day.
fucking eat. They
Yeah.
ate probably breakfast and dinner, and maybe that's it. And they
Max
probably
is
didn't
that.
eat as much. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that, like, you know, people like to compare, like, the Greeks and Romans being fucking jacked, and I'm sure they weren't that jacked. They just made sculptures of them looking like that.
Right.
But at some point, they did carry a lot of fucking weight of armor and shit.
Yeah.
So they had to have had some kind
I
of
mean,
muscle
they were like
tone, right?
warriors.
Right, exactly.
Some of those dudes.
And that's the thing is, like, they weren't eating like 6 meals a day and all. And I mean, if you go to other countries, they do not eat as much as Americans do.
Oh hell no.
And that's why I love fasting. Because for one, I am a big eater. I fucking love a big ass meal, right? But if I fast all day and I just eat for dinner, and I eat a lot, and I still don't eat as much as what I would have like throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I see, like, I lose weight, I see better progress with my lifting, I can run better, I feel, and another thing is I feel better because when you eat a meal, then you go like 5 hours without eating, you're like, God, I'm fucking hangry, I'm pissed off, I want to eat something. When you just fast, you have it in your mind, like, I'm not going to eat, like, you know, so I feel like it sharpens your senses and stuff.
Right.
But it's just like what you said with the medication and stuff like that. Like, we don't really need all this extra shit, you know? We don't even eat 3 meals a day, you know?
I feel like that's one of those things that, like, huge companies somehow made it so that we're just like, yeah, there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you sometimes have snacks, but it's 3 meals a day. You eat that much. But like you were saying, realistically, like, most of human history, motherfuckers were not eating 3 meals a day.
Right.
Maybe I bet there are situations where they would have one massive meal a week and then survive off of that resource and water.
Right.
And that's about it. Like,
Right.
Humans are more robust than people think, but we're such pussies nowadays because we have everything figured out for us.
Right.
Like, we got McDonald's around the corner.
Exactly. You just go to it.
You don't have to make shit. You don't have to
Your
think
body
about
could
it.
go like 30 days without eating.
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking at Gandhi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He went fucking days, right?
Man.
Weeks or whatever. And it's like, so you're telling me you're going to die for not eating for like 1 day or like not even just eating for 16 hours,
Powerful
right?
organisms,
Right.
bro. Like, people underestimate not even just humans, but animals in general. We're the product of this insane mechanism that is natural selection.
Right.
You
Dude,
know?
it's a real natural selection. I don't care what people say. People quit being pussies. Natural selection is 100% true.
It's not arguable.
Yeah,
That's
not.
literally
It's
like
real.
it's proven.
It's real.
It's the kind of thing that you can get mad about when brought up in certain situations, and I kind of understand it because it's sensitive. But like, how the fuck would the first land animal get out of water if there wasn't some reason to do so?
Right.
How the fuck would, like, I don't know. It's so
It's evolution.
It's so fundamental to not even just the animal experience, to plant life and the circumstances that allowed life to exist on our planet.
Right.
You know, like, natural selection is very integral to life itself.
It's a principle. It's like if you have a team, track, whatever, dumbass is, if someone isn't good enough, they don't make it. You know what I mean, right? It's just how it is. Now, obviously, there's certain things that go with that, but it's true. If you're not up for it, it's not gonna happen.
If you're not fit for the game,
Right. I mean, you can go as far as to say even in war, I 100% know I'm not cut out for war, right?
Yeah.
But there is guys that definitely are. And those are the guys who go to war, right? And, I mean, that's right there. Like, I know, like you said.
The winning team gets to have their page in the history books.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's not even something you can deny, natural selection, but people be getting pissy when that phrase is brought up.
They do. Well, I mean, some idiot. I mean, it's it's like you watch idiots do stupid shit, then they end up dying because they lit themselves on fire. Well, that's natural selection right
And I
there.
will say it's harder to see in our age, especially with humans, because especially
things
in
are
a
crazy.
like first world country
Right.
where living is not that fucking hard. If we're being honest,
Right.
like I said earlier, everybody's got their trap, but like making it to the next day with food for a lot of people is not a challenge.
Right.
So in some senses, like dumb people can still strive nowadays, and
100%.
it's less so where like if you're a dumbass caveman, you're not gonna fucking have
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, look at the Kardashians, right? I mean, they're fucking rich.
they just took videos of them living their fucking life, and now they're
Right, and now they're
or I guess there's a little bit more than just living life.
right. I guess there's a little more.
There's a
Yeah,
little-
they just living
yeah,
life.
there's a little extra, but I guess that's still part of life.
Yeah,
That's how nature
exactly.
goes, but
Man.
oh my
Yeah, it
goodness.
is. It is just a weird. It's one of those weird things that I hate. I hate this culture of shit that you can't say because it's like you can't say that. Well, I think the same shit as you, right? Like we probably have the same. You've
But if
thought
I
of
phrase
this.
it this way,
Yeah, you get mad at it, and it's like, no, dude. It's like, well, and that's one reason why I always liked watching I liked watching Rogan. I liked watching just a bunch of other people who are just like real. They're like, no, this is just me being real, and you're gonna get mad at it. Then get mad at it, you know.
dude, it is this fucking culture because there's this idea that like you can't be an asshole in 2020, but sometimes you have to be to get a point across.
Right.
Like that's one thing that some people have told me directly that I'm an asshole, and I will
Right.
say in some situations I am.
Right.
But you have to be if you want to be
Give me an
a
example.
leader in any circumstance. I couldn't give an exact example. It was
Right.
especially in the high school days
Right.
when like my ego was massive because
Right.
of track and shit.
Right. Oh
But-
yeah, it happens. I've been there.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's important. Like, if you're gonna beta your way through life, like your points won't be heard,
Right.
and if they are, like, they won't be listened to. You have to in some way have power in a conversation, and most circumstances that is speaking up for what you want to be heard, and
Right.
that comes off as being an asshole.
Right. Well, that is, like you said right there. I like that phrase. Beta your way through life, because
Some people just pick a side too. They're like,
right.
I'm all beta, I'm all alpha.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how
Right.
this shit works.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Well, and plus you got people who they don't. They're too. Okay, I'll give you a great example. So there was this lady. There's three women in the sauna at the gym, and I go in, and they're talking about politics, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm not. You know what I mean? Well, this one woman, so it was, they were totally on two separate sides, right? They're having a normal conversation, and this other lady came in, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It was, and I've talked to the lady before. She's a great person, right? One was like this really prissy white girl, like, oh, I just don't know. It's just my opinion. And the other was like an upfront, strong black
Yep,
woman,
yep.
right? And she
Bro,
said what she
You
had
do
to
not
say.
want to argue with black women.
No.
You do not want-
No.
You do not.
No.
They will give you the smoke and make fun of you.
Well,
like,
here's the thing: is that she brought up something that totally didn't, and it was totally unlike. I was like surprised that everything was going on. Like I was like, what? But I don't even remember the full conversation. But the minute, because the prissy white girl was talking to this other girl, and she was like totally like, just, well, I disagree because of this, right? And it's because the black woman walked in. She sits down, she's listening, and I'm like, oh god. I'm like, cause the subject
You
they're
know
talking
that
about is
sense
like,
is
right. It's
yeah.
like they're talking about politics and Black Lives Matter and all that. I'm like, this something's gonna happen here, and I'm just sitting back like waiting. And then she goes, look, I'm gonna be honest. says how it is, tells her opinion, and the white girl's just like, she didn't want to she just didn't want to have the conversation. I'm like, no, don't back out now.
Yeah,
You were just,
yeah.
don't back out now. And she walks away from it and is like, sorry, I didn't mean to be hostile or anything, and walked off. I was like, dude, I hate that. Like, just because you're, and what I don't like is what I see every day is that there are these, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm white, I'm gonna say it. There's super social justice warriors that are white, right? But the minute they have a conversation with anyone that isn't their color, they don't want to have the conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're too scared of having, they just want to have it with, like, what I see other white people, which is totally fine, whatever. But you get, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they're all about social justice, but
On the screen.
right on the screen, right? They're on the screen,
I posted
exactly.
a black square on Blackout
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh my God, that drove me nuts because
Bro.
so many people post that. And I was like, dude, you've said some shit.
There-
I don't want to see that.
I'm telling you, there are people that have DM'd me like, how come you didn't post this, or how come you're not that active on this stuff anymore? It's like,
What is a black
I
screen gonna
live
do?
it.
Right.
Who else do you know that
You're like,
donated $800 to the KC Bell Fund
Right.
out of my own shit? You know, like,
Right.
people only want that, like, screen. Oh, I posted a black square, so I love black people. But realistically, those are the people that are insecure about how they feel.
How racist
and,
they are.
And they're suppressing that, and they're like, you know how easy it is to fucking post a black square or repost something on Instagram that says something about how bad this situation is or blah blah. Like, bro, I don't care how many statistics you post. What do you do in real life?
Yeah. Right.
Like, shut the fuck up if you don't stand up for that shit in real life.
Right.
I see these people, like, they'll go to a protest just to post a picture and then dip out.
Dip out. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
You're there for the wrong fucking reason.
And that is what I'm trying to. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And I feel like, okay, it's the white people who actually are not like, the white people that don't have to say that they're not racist because they're not racist, right?
Yes.
We're like, we're like the white people. Well, I'm not racist. Well, why do you got to say you're not racist if you're not racist? You know what I mean?
Everybody's racist. I promise. Whether it's conscious or subconscious,
Right.
everybody has a different way of treating people that look differently than them. That's
Right.
natural.
Yeah.
Like, natural down to the fundamental. It is whether or not you put that into action on how you treat people.
Right.
And as a black person, it's kind of easy at this point to tell before people even open their fucking mouth whether or not they're the type of person that is on one side or the other.
Right.
There are so many people that will bring race into a conversation with me as soon as possible.
Right.
To, like, try to get on my side and be like, yeah, I fucking love black people.
Right.
They'll tell a story about their one black friend as, like, the first thing they say to me.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, okay, so I kind of get where you're going with this. You don't know shit.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing with, and I've had conversations with my friends, you know, especially my white friends who feel the same exact way. Like, we're like, God, and we said the exact thing. We're like, I absolutely hate white people that try to just like, oh, I love black people. Like, I'll do anything that's black and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, first off, how do you actually treat someone who just like, I'm talking to you as a fucking person? Yeah, obviously you're gonna see race, like, and that's another thing I hate. Like, oh, I don't see color. Shut the fuck up, dude. That is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever. My cousin said that to me one time. Well, it's like, you do, and people you do, right? It's that fucking simple. Yeah, it does. I think it drives everyone, and that's where, like, I hear people who generally are like, they might seem like they're on the, not even just in a political spectrum. They're just like super. They would be looked at as a racist because they're kind of country. You know what I mean?
Right.
They get looked at as like that. But I guarantee you, some of the people I know who look like, I mean, they would be a racist. They wear cowboy boots in their country. I guarantee you, they treat they treat people the
Yeah.
exact same. You know what I mean? Obviously, like you said, everyone is gonna talk to someone differently or whatever.
Right.
But I guarantee you, those people treat people how whoever treats them. Whereas you got that bullshit that we just talked about going
Right.
on, which drives those people insane. Because we're like, I hear people like that all the time. They're like, I take a picture and people like, assume like I'm a fucking racist, but really the people who are fucking overly trying to do, you know what I mean?
They're fighting that subconscious.
Right.
The thing that matters the most, and the reason why it is a big issue in this country, is because this subconscious racism is woven into the structure of the way that our police are driven. Like, literally,
Right.
the police force is an evolution of what originated as slave patrol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when slavery was abolished, they're not making that free. They're not getting that free revenue from people making their shit, and now the economy's not doing as well. So they have to figure out some way to exploit these people for money. And so they would literally, it's exactly like it is today. They would drive around and find some excuse to give these people a fine in some way. It's
Right.
like, people act like we had the civil rights thing, so everything is fine now. Nothing has actually changed.
No.
That's why you see, like, this is one of the things that is commonly misunderstood, is the whole, like, abolish or defund the police. Because the idea is that, like, it is so deeply woven with racist roots, like actual racism roots, and they are given power just by their job title, by
Right.
having like the shortest fucking training time. You can
Dude.
become a hairdresser and it takes like months on months, and then
Right. And then you
yeah.
just be a cop with a gun in
Yeah.
like, what is it? 12
So
weeks.
the police get a shit ton of money from a lot of major cities, but in most circumstances, it is like a huge cut of where this money is going. And I see the argument of like, well, if you defund them, they'll be even dumber. But it is so, it's so broken that it has to be taken apart and rebuilt. You know, and it might look similar when it is rebuilt. It might be completely different, and the only way to find out is by, trying new shit
Right.
and better training these people. And like, a lot of the fucking money that these police forces are getting is not going to training.
Yeah, it's going to their
It's going
tactical
to
shit. Yeah.
it's going to, like, the New York Police Department, New York City Police Department. I saw this statistic, has like, I wish I had the numbers, but just a massive
Right.
budget that is basically being used just for situations where they fucked up, like the police department treated somebody wrong, or like situations like Eric Garner and George Floyd and all that shit. And instead of like solving these problems by getting rid of that officer and fixing the fundamental issue, they're just paying massive amounts of money to get that just completely driven under the record.
Right. Right. Well,
It's crazy.
it is nuts. It's like, I mean, and I even talked to cops who were like, dude, they saw they saw the George Floyd video, and they're like, yeah, that dude is a piece of shit.
Even the cops that were with him were telling him to fucking stop.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, I think that cops need way more training. 100%. I think they need better training. You ever seen called 100 Humans on Netflix?
I have not.
So they did this test. Well, they do a bunch of weird, different shit. But one like episode was like a kind of a serious episode, and they did like a study with, it was like a training where someone would come out, like there's like 3 people behind somewhere, and they'd come out, and one would have a phone and one would have a gun, right? Well, almost everyone shot the black dude if he had a gun or if he didn't have a gun.
Jesus.
And it didn't matter who it was. It like who had the gun. Like it was
Yeah.
black, white, the black dude got shot the most,
Yeah.
right? And even one girl was like, "What the fuck? Like, why did I?" And they're like, "Yeah, it sucks how fucking society is and shit." But the thing is, I looked at that and I was like, "Do cops do this as training? Because this would probably be like a decent
definitely
training."
some testing that you can do to like find that level of racism,
Right, in someone.
in cops and shit like
Right.
that. But it's so, because we're just humans, right?
Right.
It's so hard to quantify and judge somebody off of like, this is your racist score. You cannot be a police officer.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
that
like,
wouldn't even. Yeah.
that's why it's so. It has to be broken down
Right.
back to basics to be rebuilt completely.
Right. Well, but even
It's the same way that like voting is not going to solve the problems in this world. Like,
oh
best case scenario, in my opinion, is civil war.
god. Right.
Literally,
Yeah.
so broken on both sides.
Well, and that's the thing with that training. When I think of that training, I'm like, well, what if you just specifically train cops? Well, fucking look and see if the dude has a gun. If he doesn't have a gun, obviously don't shoot somebody, right?
Dude, they don't like their job should be to de-escalate situations.
Right.
When you're shooting a black dude that has a phone and there's a dude with an actual gun, like
Yeah.
that's not. You're doing a horrible
Yeah,
job of
it's
de-escalating.
Completely two different things, right?
Somebody pulls out their ID and they're like, he's got a weapon.
Right.
Or this, there's, you know who Joey Badass is?
Yeah, I know
He's a
him.
rapper. He's got a line.
His flow is crazy.
Dude, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he has a crazy ass flow.
He's got a line where he says, the police could say, he's got a gun. Damned if he do, damned if he don't, damned if he run. There's no good situation if a cop says, he's got a gun.
Right.
Because they're going to gun that ass down.
Right.
If he doesn't have a gun, doesn't fucking matter. If he does, he's fucked. If he runs, he's fucked.
Right.
Like, there's
Either
no
way.
good situation in that. And these dudes are so driven by emotion half the time when these horrible situations pop up that you're not even trying to de-escalate at that point.
Mm-hmm.
There is something deep inside of you that is like, I can check a fucking black person off of the list
Right.
of humanity.
Right. Which is just fucking.
It's just that subconscious, like, seeing us as less than a person.
Right.
And it's pretty easy, like I was saying earlier, to tell the people that don't see me as much of a person as the next dude with a brighter complexion.
Right.
Like, that is just part of the experience.
Yeah. Like I said, I 100% know people that they like to bring up race a little bit too much to where I'm like, even around me, and like I said, I have a cousin like that who just constantly is like bringing stuff up, and I'm like, hey, can we just talk about something else? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, come on, dude. But
I got this cool podcast going.
yeah, I was like, so I got this cool podcast, and he's like, well, you know, this and that. But with the whole training, I was watching this. You know, it was like these Navy SEALs, and they're like, dude, cops have the worst fucking training.
Dude, imagine. I was thinking about this the other day. Imagine if cops had to go through like armed
Marines and
force
shit.
level
Yeah,
training.
that's what
Would
they
you
think.
have fuck ups like that? No,
Probably not.
You
And
wouldn't
that's
have the bad
right.
apples. you
That's
know?
I've said this on a couple different podcasts where and someone.
Probably still would.
Someone, yeah, we probably still would,
Yeah.
but I don't think as much because
There's no way.
Because, like, dude, I was talking with someone, and someone's idea was, like, to get a social worker with them, and I said, I don't know if that will work, because that's kind of putting another person in danger, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, that just seems kind of like, I just don't see that ever happening. What I do see happening is putting them through, which I've heard on so many other podcasts, where they're like, I was making sure this is still going, I've seen this on
Heavy
so many
ass. We're just
different.
talking
Oh,
this
dude,
whole
I've
time.
had that happen.
Are you for real?
Yeah, it just shuts off, and I'm like, God, this is such good shit, dude. But I agree completely. In these Navy SEALs, these Marines, all these guys are like, they watch videos. For example, the dude who they're yelling at him to freeze, and the dude turns around, sees a cop, reaches in his pocket to turn off his music because he couldn't fucking hear him, and he got shot. And then the cop came over because he thought it was a gun, and the cop was like, "Oh no!" Like he realized he fucked up and was like, "Oh, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like I didn't know. I thought you had a gun." and it was just bad. A bad situation. And the Navy SEALs were looking at this like, first off, dude, like, and obviously I don't have that sort of training, but they're like, first off, dude, why are you out in the open exposing yourself to somebody? Hey, like, get undercover and then ask if someone has a gun. And then when they turn around, like, you're covered up behind a car, they turn around, oh, they don't have a gun. Okay, we're cool, right? And obviously the guy probably shouldn't have profiled them in the fucking first place, right?
Yeah.
But in that situation, you know, cover yourself
so
and, right? I don't know. It's just like, like I said, it's one of those things where if they would go through as much, and these Navy SEALs, they talk about like how they would never be in this situation. They're like, I know the shit to do to show them how to do this, because they are too scared. If you're too scared to be a cop, I couldn't be a fucking
real training
cop.
would weed out the dumbasses.
100%.
Like other countries don't have these types of problems, or they're much more minor, and it's because they put more than like 12 hours of training in these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of places it takes like 2 years to become a cop.
Yeah, because you're protecting the fucking people. Like,
right.
You should be a respectable human being that is like determined to care about that job.
Right. And I get it on one end. That's like, okay, you're a cop. You see a lot of assholes every day. You do get guns pulled on you, and so you are a little bit paranoid and shit. But, like, I mean, Chris Rock had the fucking joke where it's like, you can't be a shitty pilot.
Have bad apples.
Right,
yeah.
you can't have bad apples.
That.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% true. But yeah, these fucking Navy SEALs and Marines are talking shit up like, dude, this would not happen with us. This 100% would not happen with us. And a lot of those guys, I mean, you even talk to those guys, they know how to de-escalate a situation. I mean, I've seen people at parks trying to start. I remember one time I was a younger kid. I was like 13, 14,
Bro,
and this
bugs are having a fucking
I know, dude, they're having
jolly
a heyday.
old time.
I know, they're driving me nuts. And someone was trying to start shit with this dude who was like, he actually was a real badass Marine, even though I don't like to say it all the time, but like a badass, you know. Nice guy, you wouldn't even have known he was a Marine or anything. The guy kept trying to fight him, and he just was like, at no point, he was like, come on, bro, let's fucking go. Like, no, he just de-escalated the situation. And I guarantee you, that dude, if that dude would have swung on him, that guy would have got fucked up.
Yeah.
But it would have been like, he de-escalated the situation first, right? Yeah. And these cops, they just freak the fuck out. Like I said, you grab a fucking, grab my wallet. Oh my God, he's got a gun.
You asked for my ID. What do you expect?
Exactly. I always felt like, I always hated, like one time I got, you know, and obviously, one time I got pulled over, you know, I had the long fucking stoner hair. Yeah, one time there was a cop next to me, and he kept looking at me and looking. And I had my music up loud, and my what do you call it? My windows were down and shit. He kept like looking over, and he was like, pulls behind me and pulls me over, and I'm like, hey man, he's like, you were doing 60 and a 40. I was like, how was I doing 60 and a 40 if you were in front of me? He's like, no, like he just fucking was like going on, and then he's like, you know, telling me I had weed in the car, and I was like, whatever, dude, but. I don't know. I was like, I kind of feel like you just saw me with my windows down and like saw that I had long ass fucking stoner hair.
You wouldn't believe, bro.
Right.
I get followed home like all the way
I'm sure.
home. There was one time I was parked outside of my house because I used to live in Leawood. First of all, I fucking hated it because like I'm used to a lower income situation, so like,
right.
I lived there for quite a decent time and never did my neighbors like quite understand the fact that they lived on the same block as a black kid.
guy. I was about to
but
say,
there was literally a time where I was parked in front of my house just like talking to somebody on the phone, and a cop pulled me over.
Really?
I was like, what are you I'm not moving, dog. Like, what the fuck is going on? Or like, I was watching my maps because I just wanted to fucking know. I got followed home for 4 miles.
Jesus Christ.
They're obvious about it too, bro. They'll be driving the opposite way from me and pop a Yui behind me and just follow me all the way home.
Right.
Or like there was one time I got pulled over with my boy Roz and Khalib, and I wasn't speeding. There was no fucking problem. He pulls me over and he's like, he asked for like license and registration. I was like, do you mind if I ask why you pulled me over, and he was like, I'll get to that when I'm ready or whatever.
God, they're always fucking assholes.
And then like, I gave him license and shit, and for whatever reason he asked for my phone number, and I was like, I'm not gonna like worsen my chances of making it out of this without a ticket or whatever, so I just gave it to him. He was writing it down. I didn't realize he was writing it on my fucking ID. So on my last ID, because I got a new one, I just have this like shitty ass handwriting of some cop defacing my property. There's nowhere in anything does it say to fucking write their phone number down on
right.
there. I don't understand. He was just trying to be a dick or something. And he was like, do you have any guns, drugs, or alcohol in the vehicle? I was like, fucking no. And even if I did, like, I could have a weapon and that's legal, and I could have alcohol. I guess not at the time.
Right.
But I was like, no, everything's cool. The reason that he pulled me over was because my third brake light was out.
Your third brake light? What the
Exactly.
fuck is a third brake?
Exactly.
Like, I think he's talking about, is it your license plate where it lights? I don't fucking know.
No, because that was fine. It was like this fucking red strip that
he just
apparently
wanted
lights
to pull you over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's the thing is, like, at any time they can pull somebody. They can find something.
Yeah.
Everybody's going 5 over constantly.
Right.
Everybody fucking runs red lights a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like at any time they can pull you over, and it's just their choice at that point.
Right.
That's why it becomes so heavily profiled.
Right.
That's why it's 3 times more incriminating for black people to get pulled
Right.
over.
Well, see, and that's the thing with, I mean, for example, the other day, I stopped at a stop sign. This cop actually pulled me. He knows my car because he pulled me over before it, and he thought I was drunk, and he made me do the whole test. And I drank like 3 hours prior. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a couple White Claws. Don't make fun of me. Someone gave them to me. I don't drink them, but someone gave them to me. Anyway, that's not the point.
Say I've never had one.
Okay, well, good for you, man. Before that, I didn't, but now, okay, they're not bad. Whatever. Anyways, so I drank. I'm embarrassed, but I drank them.
Girl beers.
Yeah, girl beers. Hey, man, sometimes they're not bad. It's not the point.
believe it.
Anyways, no, I'm messing. But so I drank them. I had like 3 of them 3 hours prior. Right. I wasn't drunk. I had my lights off. He pulls me over because, I had my lights off. I turned them on right when I saw him. I was like, oh fuck. And I like kind of made like a little turn. Like I kind of got into the last lane in the last minute, so it looked wonky. And he's like, well, you kind of were parked wonky. And I said, dude, and he was a young cop, so I knew he was like, I'm by the book and all this. I was like, dude, honestly, I fucking, no, I've had one, well, I lied. I said I didn't tell him until he asked me again before I had to do the breathalyzer. I told him, okay, I had one a long time ago. But I told him, I was like, no, dude, I haven't been drinking. I'm fine. Like, I'm not slurring my words. Like, I'm literally down the street from my house. What's that smell? It was my pre-workout, the douchiest thing. It was my fucking pre-workout that spilled. The other cop was fucking cool, dude. He goes, nah, bro, that's his pre-workout. He's like, nah, I know he sprayed. He kept being a dick. He's like, I know he sprayed something. So, anyways, I fucking am, like, struggling, doing the one hand. I count my ABCs backwards. I can't even fucking do sober. And he's about to get me. He gives me the fucking, he's like, blow into this. We'll see if you go home. I blow into it. He looks down. He starts laughing. I'm like, all right, bro, just fucking get it over with. He goes, well, you blew a 0, Luke. You could go. I was like, oh, shit. No fucking way. And he's like, were you listening to me? But, that's the thing is like, oh, and back to, he's the same cop who pulled me over the other day. I stopped at a stop sign for 2 seconds instead of 3. So he pulled me over because I didn't stop completely. And then my license is expired. Well, not anymore, but because of COVID, I had to schedule my license after I turned 21. Right. So I told him that, yeah, whatever, you still have to. I was like, dude, I can show you the paperwork. No, you got to show that in court. I'm still writing you a citation for it. Are you fucking serious? And that is like, I was like, dude, are you fucking, like, especially Merriam cops are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with, like, where I have family members and friends are like, why? I get profiled too. I'm like, look, dude. Yeah, cops may fucking judge you or whatever, but you will never be fucking pulled over because you're white. Like, a cop's just not going to be like, oh, I'm going to pull over this fucking white guy. Like, yeah, you might get pulled over because you fucking look a certain way, or maybe, like, in that case, the cop knows my fucking car,
Right.
and I know he knows I speed, and I've probably slowed down towards him a couple times, but he's never going to pull me over because of the color of my
Right,
skin.
yeah.
And that's where I try to explain to them, and then they just are like, well, I'm like, yeah, you get
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, right? And that's how I explain, like, to some, this, like I said, once again, family members, friends, they always say, well, white privilege is a myth. I was like, no, it's not. It 100% is not. They're like, yes, it is, because, well, I don't have. I said, look, dude, this is the thing. You might be judged because of who you are, as just a person. But I'm like, you will not be judged in a white nation. You will not be judged by being white.
Yeah.
Because there are other white people. You're not going to be judged by that, just off the color of your skin. That is white privilege right there.
Right. The most important thing for people to do is to acknowledge the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because denying a difference, you're just stupid.
Right.
Like, there's a difference in how we're treated. There's a difference in our lifestyle.
Right.
There's a difference in how we have to go about every move.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most important thing, to acknowledge it. You don't have to be fucking 100% on our side of every coin and all this shit, but if you can just sit back and realize that we are treated differently, that's
Right.
all it has to be. It's
Right.
that simple. Like, denying it doesn't mean shit, because you grow up white and you're like, I understand the experience of these people, and
Well, you
it's
don't,
like, no,
because
you fucking don't.
you're not black. You don't
literally-
understand it.
It's
Right.
impossible. You couldn't put on a virtual reality headset
Right.
and simulate being black. You
Right.
know? Like, it's just an everyday difference,
Mm-hmm.
and all people have to do. I'm acting like there's a fucking magical solution. Like, if everybody just acknowledges the problem, that it'll be gone tomorrow.
Well, no, but you got a
But
good point, though.
It's a place to start. Like,
Yeah.
people want to do the most or fucking nothing, and like, that's all I ask.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's like conversations like these, like, to see different perspectives. Like, one thing is, like, once again, with I know poor ass white people who they tell me this all the time, where they're like, and they have admitted that they are the people who recognize their privilege, right? But at one point they're like, look, if you know who Theo Vaughn is, he's he's a comedian. He's like this fucking. He grew up in a trailer park, right? And he goes, look, being from a poor, he's like, I came from this neighborhood it was a town where it was all poor white people and poor black people. And being a poor white dude, I felt like when I was around rich white people, I felt like I was treated like shit.
Yeah.
I've seen it, dude. I've seen rich ass white people treat poor ass white people like shit, not give them the time of day, call them white trash, call them whatever, right? So then that's the reason why they believe whatever fucking bullshit Trump says, and they're like, yeah, and then they think like, well, I don't understand because I get treated like shit too, and I'm like, well, dude, like I said, you get treated like shit, from a totally different perspective, like, and that's where they feel like they don't have any privilege. They're like, well, I don't have any privilege, I got treated like shit my whole life. Okay, but you still have privilege being white, and they never understand that.
Well, I think, first of all, it is a class problem that also happens to be a race problem because
100%.
of the way that our race has been treated.
Right.
Like, we're put in situations where our livelihood will not be as affluent as white people's. Like, simple example is putting crack in black communities. Like, they know what that's gonna do.
Right.
It makes us easier to control, keep us amongst our own problems. Blah blah blah. Fuck. What was I gonna say? What were you just saying?
I just
Talking
about fucking the way poor white people think and why they don't have
Yeah.
privilege.
Okay. So it's important to realize, like, white people can still be oppressed by their class,
but not by their race, right?
Well, I wouldn't even say not, because like I was saying earlier, everybody's a little bit racist.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a mostly black community and you're a white dude, there's gonna be some sort of oppression. But it's important to realize that everyone, because I feel like a lot of the white people that are denying in denial of white privilege and all this is that they think that we, like, minorities and all that, are the only people that can be oppressed. You know, I would argue that everyone in America is oppressed in their own way because of the way that our system is built fundamentally. But it's by no fucking means is it the kind of thing where we're exclusively oppressed, especially black women, and I want the entire government to be built around making my life better.
Right.
That's not how any of this shit works. Like,
Right.
everybody can be oppressed in different ways. And there are times where I have been oppressed for things that are not about my race. Like, that's just part of being human.
Right.
People try to put other people down for whatever reason.
Right.
But I think that the narrative that is portrayed to the right by the media's left is that the left is like, these people are being oppressed and it is exclusively these people and blah blah blah. You need to change your entire lifestyle to accommodate their issues and vice versa. Like, everything is overdone.
I think you said it perfectly, where that's where, like you said, the right, or just white people in general who don't understand, they take it that way. And it's like, it's not what we're trying to say. We're not saying you have to fucking change your whole life. I just want you to understand something, right?
Yeah, it's so
it seems so simple, but it's
not, because we live in this time where people will refuse to admit that they're ever wrong.
Right.
And that is like, my dad and I talk a shit ton, and he's like my creative teammate and inspiration, all that blah blah blah. But a conversation that keeps coming back, or like punchline to a conversation that keeps coming back, is that people just will not admit that they're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And that is literally, like, when you admit that you're wrong, you grow.
Right.
People are so complacent that they're like, this is the person that I am, this is the person that I'm going to be, and these are the opinions I stand for. But with the whole two-party system shit, either side you're on, even if you're not on a side, you have to admit at some point that you have to adapt your opinions to the time.
Right. Well, another thing is, you share a post and then you find out later it's wrong, and it's like, nope, it's not.
Yeah,
I still want it to be right because I shared it. I shared it on Facebook. I don't want to look stupid. Like, you know, everyone's afraid to look stupid. Fuck it, look stupid. Like,
you have to.
You know, I'm sitting here on a fucking podcast.
You gotta put your heart on a sleeve every once in a while.
Right.
Like, if there are, you know, Dane Smith.
Yeah.
He brought up the term bots for people that are just like, they kind of pick their opinions and go with. That's my new favorite shit. Cause like, there's other ways to put it, but like these people are just fucking bots. You know?
You still hang out with Dane?
Decent amount. I saw him up in Manhattan the other day.
I know, dude. He changed a little bit because I saw him and I was like, me and my friend were like, "Is that Dane?"
You gotta get that man on.
Dude, I kept yelling. I was like, "Dane!" I tried to get him on here. He said, I know he's in Manhattan or whatever, so whenever he gets a free time, I know these things are wild. I kept shouting Dane, and he would not fucking hear me. And then finally he came over. He's like, "Oh, hey, Luke." I was like, "Dude, I thought that was you. I thought that was you. Like, I knew it was."
If you're watching this, Dane, hello. Sorry for dropping your name.
Shout out to Dane. No, I'm not sorry. You're getting exposed. And if we get canceled, you're canceled
coming with
too,
us,
bitch. And that's how it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's. I fucking, like I said this again. I love podcasts because then you see people fucking talk about perspectives and everything, and then it just versus a fucking status or I love that you're on social media for this and not for bullshit. You know, I mean, we all are on for a little bit bullshit, but yeah, it sucks how polarized.
Dude, it's funny how like, there's no right way to use social media, right?
Yeah.
But there's this format that a lot of people follow, and when you kind of break out of that, they're like, this is not what I expect in my feed. Like, people have hit me up like, "You've changed. You only post about stuff that promotes your business." It's like, I don't have to fucking tell you how I feel every day.
Right.
You know, I see it as a tool. You know.
Yeah.
Because I was lucky enough to be like semi-popular in high school,
Right.
and now there's people that still know me and are interested in what I'm up to.
Right.
Why the fuck would I not use 500 followers as
As a
platform?
promotion, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like I see it as past me was setting me up for now, you
Right.
know. And people are like, I just want to see pictures, blah blah blah. What are you up to, blah blah blah. You haven't posted about your apartment or whatever. It's like, bro,
How about I post my
shut the
ass
fuck
and you
up.
can like
Yeah.
it later? How about that, dude?
Break the fucking format.
Right. Well, and yeah, it is a. I'm gonna be honest. I have not like. I will. I mean, I will strictly only follow funny ass shit, just because I don't want to see anything else. And honestly, what I do, I've done for a minute, is I delete everything. I promote this, and then I delete everything, and then I leave it alone. Then later, I'll put everything back on, and I'm like, I look at stuff, and I don't look at stuff the way I used to. I know they're annoying, dude. They have not been this bad, but I will look at things differently. Just be when I was so wrapped into social media, I felt like I was so much more opinionated with just bullshit because I was disagreeing with whoever was in front of me. You know what I mean?
People will like base the person that they are off of the person that they portray on social media. You know,
Yeah.
so like they even, and it's back to the admitting that you're wrong thing. Like even if back in the day you did this or that thing, you want to stick to that format, and you're literally basing yourself off of this character, this avatar that you build on the screen.
Right.
Like we're losing touch with our actual human selves because we have to have the most followers and the most double taps on our posts and the most comments. It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it is. People just. Well, I will admit I do look at views and I'm like, fuck.
Dude, I do too. I hate
like,
that shit.
okay,
I get
just leave it
obsessed.
alone.
I
Yeah.
still get obsessive no matter how much I talk about how much I hate social media. I am still facing that issue.
Right.
It's that powerful.
Well, when you're promoting something, it's like, well,
hard
I
not
want
to.
this to, and it's not like, and I hate, and actually, you and Marty spoke up to me about what I was doing wrong, and Marty was like, hey, dude, don't post about your views, like, because, like, people look at the, Marty said, I know you're not fake, I know you love this podcast shit, you just want to talk to people, understand things, because really, that's what I wanted. I want to understand, especially our generation, I want to understand people. And I want to see different perspectives. Like, I don't want to be in a fucking box my whole life. I want to get out of it and see.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that comes with of promoting a podcast is I want to look at these. I want views to get out there and make something of myself and make it out there so I could get more people on, right? And when you post, oh, I got this many views, I need more, like, people look at it as like, well, he just fucking is clout chasing it once. And then it gets looked at as fake. You know, so
You just gotta trust your process, cause like
100%.
you could literally not promote shit for like most of the time on social media, and as long as you're still posting the podcast and maybe like slide a link into one of your posts, as long as people realize that you're committed to this shit and like this is your thing, you'll be good. It's the same thing with my shirts and shit. Like, it started out small. It started out as just like something I did for fun, you know. The literal purpose of me starting screen printing stuff was to have a way to like physically have a portfolio of my design stuff. And I didn't really give a shit about how many sold or whatever. I still honestly don't. It's just cool to have messages on people's backs. But yeah, people are naturally attracted to people that do their own thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you post a link or, you know, promote shit on stories and all that, like, whether it's just in direct conversation with somebody they know, they're like, dude, I saw this podcast with my boy Luke and you should check it out, you know.
Right.
That's how we really grow, because you can, like I was saying about advertising earlier, you could spend money and get more people to see your shit, but are those people really consuming your message, or are they clicking on your video because an ad told them to?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's another thing is like, I also looked at the views and I'm like, how many people are just clicking and clicking off? Like, I would rather have 5 fucking people watched it and loved it.
Right.
And I actually made a fucking post the other day, like, thank you to all my 5 people that
Have
I
seen
know
everyone.
have watched it
Yeah,
because they've gave me feedback and said, like, hey, I like this and that, versus the fucking 20 that just are like, oh, here you go, and then like, and then whatever, you know.
Right.
I had a friend who was like, well, I like your shit. I haven't watched it. I liked it to help the algorithms. I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck if you watch it, dickhead.
Yeah,
like, you
that's
know.
not the point.
Right. Well, it's like, you know, rappers fucking dropping a surprise album. If the fucking product's good, then it's just going to blow
sell.
up. Dude, I saw you post that about that Nas album. I know you're a big fan of Nas. That album was dope, man.
That might be one of my favorites right now.
Do you think it's gonna be a classic? It's tough to say.
It depends. See, the thing is, like, a classic album almost barely has anything to do with the music that's within it.
Right.
It has more to do with, like, well, how many albums did they make in recent succession, and how did they promote it, and how do people see it? Because, like, I follow a lot of, like, hip-hop Twitter and just different opinions
same.
bouncing around.
Right. Kind of drives me nuts sometimes.
Dude, I hate it.
They trash
I
shit that I
genuinely
love,
hate
and I'm
it.
like,
But, dude, people were dead silent when Nas dropped an album. I was like, dude, this is Nas.
yeah. It's
But
like,
people
come
just
on
kind
now.
of died off on it. I love the album. I love its messages and all that, but I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
Thought it was dope. I liked that, you know, I like Top Shot the Kid, but I wasn't a fan of the Kanye Nas album too much.
It grew on me, if I'm being honest.
Really? Yeah, I think Marty told me you really liked that
Yeah.
album. Shout out Marty. But yeah, the Martian. But no, it didn't grow. Not that it didn't grow on me. I didn't give it too much a chance, and I'm a fan of Nas. I'm not the hugest fan. Like, obviously, I love Illmatic. I love what is it? Stillmatic? Is that the one where he dissed Jay-Z on?
Oh,
yeah.
shit,
Ether.
I don't know.
It had Ether. It had a bunch of classics on it. Godson, if you ever heard that album,
Yeah,
I
that
love
shit's crazy,
Godson.
bro. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
We got rap nowadays, and it's kind of like meshing into its own
To its
thing,
own little
but, like,
thing,
There's
yeah.
still hip hop.
100%.
That's one of the better hip hop albums
Well,
of this year.
The one thing I loved about Nas's new album is the beats on it were like,
Dude.
they didn't fit old, they didn't fit new. They were its
Yeah,
own fucking
yeah.
thing, you know?
Just the intro, like, that was the kind of album where you see that cover and you're like, this is about to be fucking
Yes,
dope.
that was a dope cover.
I bought it. I have a fucking bad habit of doing this shit, but I bought it on vinyl before it was actually released because I was like, I know.
Right.
But I got home from work and I just like loaded up a bowl, got high as fuck,
Hell
and
yeah.
then listened to the album, and like that intro with the like vocal track in the background. Oh, it just fucking ascended out of my body.
It
And then
was
he's
a-
got bars on bars throughout the rest of the project.
Yeah,
Like,
and it was hard. And it wasn't just like, there are some Nas projects where they're so lyrical, where like
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, yeah. But that was not. I mean, it was out of this world lyrical, but it wasn't overwhelming to where I couldn't listen to it. It was
I
good.
feel like, have you heard Big Sean's new album?
Yeah, I really liked it. You didn't like it?
It's for me, it's that like overwhelming lyricism, because he does have good messages, but dude, 20 songs, bro.
Yeah, and
Cut
he's
it
a
down
little.
to 11. It could have been incredible.
He's a little monotone sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I know, I'm Big Sean, Detroit, and I'm like, okay, dude, we get it. You're from Detroit. Did you like the cipher?
I did.
Did you?
Dude,
Who's your favorite on the cipher?
I am a big Royce da 5'9" fan.
Royce was
Dude,
really good.
He's just so like cerebral.
Yeah.
You know, like he talks and you're like, he said, bro. I remember hearing his line. I think he said like, a wise man knows nothing.
Yeah. That
Dude,
was
I heard that. And I was like,
crazy.
holy shit.
A lot of my friends thought Royce's was the best. One of my buddies, actually the last person on the podcast, thought 42 Doug. I didn't think 42 Doug's was the best. I love 42 Doug, but I loved Royce's. Royce's
Did you hear
verse.
his album from earlier this year, The Allegory?
No.
Not a lot of people got on that one.
But I did hear the one, the Book of Ryan.
Yes, that's
I
also an
love the
incredible
Book of
album.
Ryan. That was a great album. Like
that's
cocaine
an
and
incredible storytelling
Yeah.
album.
Cocaine, and what was the other one? There was two songs that, it was Cocaine, and then there's another fucking song that was really great on there.
I can't. I'm so bad with track names. But
Yeah, I am too.
yeah, that album is fucking dope.
It was dope. I loved Royce's. I thought Royce's was like, it had the most out of the whole cipher. It had the most content to it.
Yeah,
And, like,
that's usually how his rap is.
Yeah,
you
oh,
know?
100%. Yeah, because I feel like he's a huge, like, because, I mean, if you look at Royce, he wrote a lot of raps for people.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he gets known in rap, is like, okay, he's just a writer for other rappers. And I'm like, no, dude, Royce actually, he has some good shit,
No,
you know?
yeah, he's one of the dudes that, like, dude, I looked at his discography. He's been rapping for ages.
For ages, dude.
And he just uses it as a platform. Like, he probably could go fucking massive and, you know, commercial and all that. But he's just trying to get his message out, and it's impressive as fuck.
Right. Well, I'm a huge M fan. More of his old shit, obviously, but I love, like, Bad Meets Evil, and I used to be like one of those guys that I'd only really like Eminem's part on Bad Meets Evil, but when I listen to Bad Meets Evil, I listen to fucking Royce as well, and I'm like, damn, like, he is straight. Like, he has the that line where it's like, it's Eminem and him again, like, because no one knows him. He's like, I was like, dude, that's dope. How he just, like,
Yeah.
I liked in the cipher how he
He's
said, you know who's promoting your bail, who's hoping you fail, Oprah and Gail. I was like, oh shit, dude.
Got rhymes on rhyme schemes, on flows.
Yeah.
Very technical artist.
Who do you think would be your favorite, like, out of the new guys? Who do you like?
You know, Reason.
Yes, I like Reason.
He's dropping an album actually this Friday.
I saw that.
I'm very excited about that. But like, JID is big.
Like JID. I like when he sings.
Yeah,
he needs to sing
he's
more.
All around dude.
Yeah.
But I think most anticipated would be Reason. I'm stupid excited for this album. Have you heard of Dante Hitchcock?
I've heard of him, but I've never listened to him.
He had an album this year that impressed me. I kind of like where hip hop is, like where the younger dudes are going right now. Less so like, I'm not huge into the like Lil Uzi Vert kind of shit.
Oh, yeah,
where it's like
no.
it's fun to listen to, but like how deep does it really go? And obviously, I understand. I have to say this because people are fucking annoying. That like he's fun to listen to, and the shit goes hard. But it's like, it's just not my kind of music.
Right.
Like, I like to be hearing stories and shit and consuming something, but...
Do you like King Von?
I don't know if I've...
Dude, no one knows. Oh my... He's such a good storyteller. Like, he tells... He sounds like... He's a newer guy, obviously. He sounds like newer guys. And he says bullshit. Like, he has this... He starts off like, I just got some top from this stripper bitch. And, like, but, like... Obviously, you think it's going to be some, like, oh, okay, it's just another fucking rapper talking about bullshit. He goes into a whole-ass story about being with this stripper. And I'm like, and then he has, like, this other song. It's called, I think it's called, like, How'd It Go? And it's about him going to jail and his girlfriend turning on him. Like, he has stories. Like, he is a storyteller. You wouldn't even know it. You know what I mean? One person I've kind of been disappointed in, which I really liked, was, Dave East. I really liked him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like he hasn't done too much. I don't know.
There's a lot of those artists that, like, they'll kind of, like, poke their toes in the game and then do their own thing for a hot minute. And I fucking understand that shit, bro. I cannot imagine being under the spotlight like that.
Right.
But, trying to think who else. You heard of Boogie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm one of the guys who I could proudly say I've been listening to Boogie
for a minute. For a fat-ass minute.
I wish his new album would... I don't know when his new album's coming out. Did you like his last Everything for Sale?
Yeah, it was good. It didn't, like, stick with me like some albums do.
Really?
Yeah. It's good. It's good shit, though, you know?
Right,
Like, you when I'm listening to it, I could tell, but it didn't, like, captivate me like some albums do.
Right. Yeah. No, like I said, I'm a huge M fan, and I know M he didn't discover him, but signed him. But usually
Oh, yeah.
when I see like if I see a rapper I just don't fucking like and Eminem's on the album, I'll probably just go to the Eminem song. I'm gonna be honest, and just want to hear
That's
his
some white
verse.
shit.
Well, I mean that's I mean it happens, okay, but.
Fuck with you.
But I Boogie was one of those where I was like, I'm gonna listen to the whole
Yeah.
album. Plus, I found Boogie a long time. I found him a long time ago, and the one thing I liked about that album is it felt like an album. You know what I mean? And it felt
Yeah.
like almost. I wouldn't say it felt like one song, but they flowed together really
Right,
well.
yeah, they definitely did.
And JID song Soho, that was probably my favorite song on the
JID's
album.
a beast.
He is a beast, dude.
His DiCaprio 2, I felt was like his getting fans album.
Yeah, because he
where
gave a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, I'm more excited about his next project. Or have you heard of Earth Gang?
Yeah.
Dude,
Which
they're
Earth,
fucking beasts.
Yeah,
they're
love.
like one of my favorites.
I don't know why I thought you were talking about something else. Yes, I've heard of Earth Gang. I remember I told Marty actually. I was like, bro, I'm gonna sound gay, but listen to Earth Gang. And people were like, I've told like 5 people. They're like, Earth
Bruh,
Gang. What's Earth Gang? I'm like, bro,
They don't
just
get
listen
it though.
to it. Yeah.
Cause
And they're from Atlanta too,
yeah,
and they got
they
their own
They're
sound.
so groovy.
Yeah,
they're
they're
so groovy.
That's a perfect way to describe them as
Stupid
groovy. They got that weird. I know they had a song on the Dreamville album. I can't
They
remember
had
which
a
one it
couple.
is. Yeah, they had a couple, but
Swivel.
there's Swivel, but isn't there another one? Whatever. But they're individual songs I couldn't think of at the moment, but I love. Do you
They're
know
brilliant.
IDK?
Yes.
Remember when he was IDKJ?
Yeah, no, dude.
This is what I'm talking
first
about.
Of all, listen, so have you heard of Isaiah Rashad? A little bit, no? Okay.
think so.
So, me, Roz, and Rowan went to Isaiah Rashad concert. Dude, I'm trying to think if it was even his. I can't guarantee it was Isaiah Rashad, but I'm pretty sure. When IDK was JAY IDK, he
Yeah.
headlined for that show. We had no fucking clue who this kid was.
Right.
He came on stage with a mask, so he's super
Yeah,
anonymous
he's weird.
and
He's
shit.
weird.
But he got the crowd to say JAY IDK, and that stuck in my head. I was like, okay, this is probably some small local act or something.
Right.
And they got to fill the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I didn't even really listen to his stuff for most of the time, but I saw Is He Real? Dude,
Yeah.
that album is I'm stupid.
Crazy.
First of all, stupid excited for his next album, but that
Yeah.
album is
Yeah.
the way it starts is just so sick.
That whole
So
album was
sick.
I
need to go back and listen to that one. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute because I listened to the IDK and Friends, the second one.
Yeah.
I think I kind of liked the first one better, but he had a really
It's
good
fun
one.
to listen to. It's the kind of
Yeah, it's just him messing around. But the Izzy Real was great. But here's the thing: is I listened to the whole album with. Have you heard God Said Trap?
I don't think so. Is
Okay,
that an album?
no, it's a song.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it might have been. It's
I
called.
might have heard it.
You might have.
Fucking know.
Okay, so the album's called Sub Trap, and he was on a song with. It was called A Little Arrogant with Joey Badass and all those guys, which I was a huge Joey
Okay,
Badass
I have
fan.
listened
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
And IDK was on there. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? This was back when he was JIY or whatever, IDKJ or whatever. I clicked on it, and I'm like, I look at the hardest looking album, which you know that's what you do.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
him with a gun next to it. I'm like, yep.
Yep.
I clicked that one. And then honestly, I usually don't do this. I usually listen to full albums, but I was like, I want to get a taste of this guy. That sounded weird. I wanted to hear. I wanted to taste this guy's music. But yeah, I saw the one with the star next to it, and it said God Said Trap. So I was like, okay. I listened to it, and I was like, this guy's gonna be fucking big, dude. And I remember actually showing it to Marty, and Marty was like, "Oh!" Usually when I show shit to Marty, he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
But when
it's not Future.
yeah, fuck you, Marty. That's funny. No, but oh man, I hope he gets this far into it. That'd be hilarious. No, but
Marty.
I do too. He's funny. I love Barry, man. He's hilarious.
Dude,
Barry's my
I've
guy.
known Marty since day one.
I know, he tells me,
and
dude.
Barry is like one of my favorite Lifetime characters.
Dude, he's
Marty!
hilarious. Marty! One time we were I told my friend, I said, because you know how his dad is like only Luke can come over at the moment, and I told my friend, hey dude, you can't come over. Like it's just me and Marty. He still showed up. And you know how his voice his New York fucking accent just echoes
Booming.
throughout the whole, booming throughout the whole house. He goes, Marty! Marty! I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, I'm sorry. And then he goes, you're fucking up my shit, dude. You're fucking up my shit. I was like, I am so sorry, Barry.
Dude, I want nothing more in this world than to be scolded by Barry Oppenheimer again.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what it is, but it's...
I love conversations with him.
Yeah, bro, oh, man.
I love it,
man,
dude.
oh man.
I know. I said, I can't remember what I said. I always say something to him. He said something. He's like, what was it? I didn't. Oh, I saw him riding his bike, and he goes, what? What? Because I'm a Jew? You don't want to fucking talk to me? I was like, no. What are you talking? He's like, oh, I see what it is. I see what it is. I was like, Barry. I saw what he just fucking was hilarious.
I was making fun of Marty for like his coin jar at some point.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm an asshole. And Barry was like, you know, you can't make jokes about that, right? And I was like, actually, I can. And he was like, you're not on our team or something. Bro, he's so simply spoken. Like, he's a man of few words, but every single one is like...
It's quick and it gets you, right away,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, he's hilarious, funny. Dude. He is fucking hilarious. But yeah, IDK, I love that guy, man. When I showed Marty and he liked it, and then Marty found him I remember Marty actually found him another time and was like, all this, because he changed his name to IDK, so I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
I was like, then I listened, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the same dude I found like a long time ago, but...
Dude, when I was listening to Is He Real, I had to like Google it to make sure, because I was like, I know this is the same motherfucker, but...
Right, is it? Yeah. Well, it's kind of a cool concept of like God and shit like that.
Yeah,
and...
he does a good job of presenting that to an audience that wouldn't otherwise consider it.
Do you believe in God?
Dude, it's complicated. Our relationship is complicated. I was raised like atheist.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's uncommon, but maybe not.
Well, they tried to teach us some Christian shit, and then they didn't really care for it. They were just like trying to make us good people or whatever. But none of us really cared, and we were like, there's no big man in the sky or blah, blah, blah. So we were kind of off of it for a while. But psychedelics.
Dude, they take you to another place, man.
Yeah. Where is it?
Right.
Where did I just go?
Right.
What did I just see? And it doesn't help. So I'm a huge Kanye West fan.
Yeah.
And
Same.
he dropped Jesus is King,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm a big enough fan where I trust anything that he makes is going to be, even if it's not like necessarily good. The message that he's trying to portray, he is a very calculated guy.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much he lashes out in interviews, that's a whole different thing. He is, like, there's a reason why he delays his albums by years. Because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So when somebody that I've been obsessed with my whole life, not my whole life, but for a fat ass minute, drops an album about religion, it makes me question kind of like the way that I see shit. And then the next day after the album came out, which for me in my own life, like a Kanye album coming out might as well be my fucking birthday.
Right.
The next day my friend offered me acid, and I was like, dude,
oh, those are...
Dude. I had tripped before that with shrooms, and I honestly think that was more interesting. But having that, like, back to back,
right?
Like Kanye drops a fucking album, and it's crazy different than what he's done before,
right.
And then I do acid,
trip on some acid,
and I talk to my friends about what the concept of God is, and like
it
changes the way you think about shit.
Yeah,
I don't see. I haven't like read the Bible or any of these books and stuff. I'm more than anything, like my dad is basically Buddhist, so I'm more into the Eastern philosophies, but kind of interpreting it into a modern age thing. So as a math guy, I try to like quantify the idea of what
Right.
this being or whatever would be. Oh
You're good.
fuck.
No, we're good.
Um,
We're good.
But yeah, there's something.
There's-
It's not. I don't necessarily think it's a consciousness. It's not something that is governing the way that things happen. But there is. It's more than the fucking 3 dimensions and 1 time dimension thing that we see going on. We are just animals at the end of the day.
Right.
And there's so much more going on that we will never be able to understand. That
It's probably the fucking aliens.
man, I hope it's the
I hope
aliens.
so, too.
We could use their help right now, honestly.
Probably.
If
I
they
mean,
can figure out how to
build the
fly around.
pyramids. They could build the
Hey,
pyramids.
all I'm saying, I won't agree with the fact that aliens did it, but the Egyptians didn't.
You don't think the Egyptians did?
No, there are holes drilled in blocks in the pyramid that you can, because of like how smooth they are, you can calculate how much force and power it would take to drill these holes, and it's hundreds of times more powerful than what we have today.
Right, so it makes
So it's
no
either
sense.
like some fucking extraterrestrials being like, "Here's a triangle, bitch,"
Yeah.
or my thought is that it's not my fucking original thought, but that there have been societies that are more advanced than we are now on Earth before us, and
Right.
just like massive events wipe them motherfuckers out, everything except for stone shapes.
Right.
You know.
Which is weird because, like, if that were the case, which I would agree with that too, and I would never debunk that theory. But I feel like I wonder if there would be like, we find that fucking drill from like it's like, oh my god,
They had
like,
that shit figured out.
yeah,
Maybe the Egyptians were smarter than we thought.
yeah,
But dude, we still don't even understand how they built that shit.
yeah.
You know.
I know. Maybe they were just fucking. Well, I don't know. They didn't have the tools we had, so yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. I know there's a lot, and
Crazy.
the fact
we
of how
don't even
perfect
know-
it is.
We don't even. Yeah, dude, that's actually nuts.
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
aligned with the poles of Earth. Like,
Yeah, it's like
flawlessly.
perfectly. It makes that to me makes no sense. It's like maybe they were just fucking more advanced, like thinking wise,
Right.
and maybe it just took years to do. I guess that's possible, but I don't know. I just couldn't even imagine like just without big ass fucking tools doing
Right.
that.
Dude, I wish that we were, cause I'm a big architecture fan, and I wish that we were in an age where like these 100-year projects happen. Like back in whatever times, people were so driven by their religions and shit like that that they would literally spend hundreds of years building a cathedral or like monuments and shit, and now it's all about efficiency and capital logic. So it's like, well, we're gonna build a rectangle, but it's shiny, so it's cooler than the other rectangles.
Right.
Or we're gonna build a rectangle, but one of the sides is a triangle, so it's better. But it's all about efficiency. Like there's still cool shit that's built, but I don't know, architecture can be dead as fuck right now.
Well, yeah.
Like if you look at those new age McDonald's and like fast food restaurants, it's just this like blocky, like
It's all the
app
same
style.
shit.
It looks like
It looks
an
like those
app.
new houses.
It's
right.
so shit. Or like the new apartment complexes where it's
Yeah.
like we added color so it's cool.
Right.
But it's just a bunch of fucking rectangles.
You're
Like,
right, it's blocky. That is true because when you go to these like super rich neighborhoods and shit, and you see like these,
copy paste, copy.
yeah,
paste.
it's
It's
like
so-
oh, there's a weird design. It's like no, you just like you said, you added more fucking blocks to it. Which
Yeah.
maybe the first couple look cool, but now everyone has these fucking.
And it's like there's
houses
other
that-
shapes out there, bro.
Right.
I know rectangles are cool for like efficiency because you can you have this rectangle plot
Right.
of land, and so can the guy next to you and behind you. But man, I don't
Right.
know. It's
Well, when you say like and going back to like what you said about like having something that's 100-year project, we could probably do something like that with like the fucking climate change or whatever, or just fucking, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I don't
we're-
know.
We're pretty bad about like coming together on an idea and being like, let's go after this.
Right.
It's like one thing's a problem one day, and then the next day we're like, but wait, this thing is now an issue, and I don't care about the last thing anymore
Right.
because it doesn't have clout.
Isn't that weird how I don't get how
Our
there's
attention spans are fucked.
it is fucked. Well, that's one thing is like with like I said with like fucking climate change or something. I don't see how people can like disagree that that's even a fucking. You know what I mean? That's
just
even
raw
a thing.
ignorance. It's again the echo chambers, bro. Like,
Right.
it's fucking, you do have to watch the Social Dilemma.
I'm gonna have to get on that.
You have to do it like early in the day so that you don't have fucking nightmares or whatever.
I was like, God, dude, what the
It's
fuck?
kind of Black Mirror-esque though when you like start to look at all the shit that really is going on.
Have you ever seen Out of Shadow? So it's a fucking that one will fuck you up. Well, I'm sure Social Dilemma will too. It's on YouTube. It's called Out of Shadow, and it's just one like it's no spaces. It's about this stuntman, right? He was, I mean, he loved his job, but he fucked up his back. Okay, so he fucked up his back. He goes to this physical therapist, right? And this physical therapist is talking about all this satanic shit that goes on in Hollywood. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm in Hollywood. I'm a fucking stuntman, you know." She's like, "Oh no, you don't know about all these." She's like, Who do you think has to put these little girls back together?" And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And no, dude, it gets fucking sick. And I hate talking about it, but it's like talking about the whole pedophile fucking thing.
Oh my god, man.
These fucking, yeah.
Dude, that's why is that like a status thing?
I don't
like,
know.
you get rich and you're like, I'm gonna fuck a 13-year-old to flex on you. Okay.
I think it's a power thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I think it's a power
Very
thing.
true.
Is that it's not even like, for example, there's people that talk about Bill Cosby. He would like, supposedly people say like he would just fucking boss around his waitress and shit like that. And there's
Right.
other guys like that that just would like have his like people feed him and shit like that. Like it's
Yeah.
just a control thing.
Right.
And it's
yeah.
like, it's like sick. But that documentary is all about all these people who like he connects the dots with I mean I go so into depth I couldn't even tell you about it, but basically about like the satanic part and how it has to deal with like the pedophile shit. And the guy gets the stuntman, like he's like out of Hollywood now, but he starts to get, he's like, well, now that I think of it, like every house I went to like had like weird fucking paintings of like devilish shit. And like he said like there was like pedophilia-esque fucking paintings
Right,
and
right,
shit. He's
right.
like, and statues of like little girls and little boys and shit. And he's like, now that I think of it, I see what this girl's saying.
Wow.
And it is just like, they go deep into it. It is a little, like towards the end, I'm like, they try to put religion a little too much into it. I'm like, okay, now you're kind of losing me. But it was a pretty good documentary. And they show this clip of like Eddie Murphy talking with Jerry Seinfeld on his little thing with the cars and coffee or
Yeah.
whatever. And he's talking about some dude in Hollywood talking about how he worships Satan and stuff. And then it shows like the dude who wrote the book of fucking the book of Satan hanging with all these fucking people in Hollywood. I'm like, holy shit, dude. But that was one that like really fucked me up. I was like, man, this thing is fucking wild.
Yeah, bro. You get on those fucking
Documentaries.
loopholes in YouTube where you just
Right.
fucking fly down a hole of weird ass videos, and by the end of it,
100%.
like, bro, I was just watching YouTube at first. Now,
Yeah, now you're down in
how
a
to
fucking
talk
rabbit
to
hole.
how to talk to multi-dimensional gods. Where did I?
Well, in that case, you just do DMT,
Yeah, bro.
and then you talk to.
Can't
Then you
say I
talk
would
to.
not.
I 100% would, dude.
Yeah, you're
I
a
would.
Joe Rogan fan.
I am a Joe Rogan fan, but not even just that. Like I had some family members that would tell me about it, and they were like, "Yeah, I would do." Because for a while there, I was like, I would not, but I don't know. I'm pretty convinced that I would.
That shit's crazy, bro. The stories that some people have of like living in a different universe for 3 months and then popping back into this like what the?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that like, first of all, that there aren't aliens because we're the only circumstance where life popped up, and we're the fucking best
Right.
at that. But that there's nothing deeper going on when you can fucking log into another universe when you take
Right.
a certain drug.
Right.
What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
bro.
That shit is weird. How? Yeah. I don't get that either because it's like we are like this small compared to everything.
Dude, we're like nothing. Like actually fucking nothing.
Right.
Compared to like you can even see in the population of the United States, us individuals are nothing, and then you go to the world and the population of the United States is nothing, and then the fucking mass of the sun versus Earth.
Earth,
and then
well, yeah,
the size,
Jupiter and
the
fucking
size of the entire solar system versus the sun, and the size of the entire galaxy.
Yeah, you got like the Milky Way. It's like holy. It's like that Men in Black when they're fucking zooming out, and it shows all the galaxies. It's like holy shit. It's like,
yeah, we don't mean shit. Your problems.
They're probably
just
nothing.
wear a face mask if that's your biggest problem.
Just wear a face mask.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, our problems are so silly. We be mad about the dumbest shit. Like, it's annoying that we're in such a, like, fiery political era, because sometimes I just want to live my fucking life.
Yeah.
But it's...
And then you get sucked in by that. Did you watch the debate? Probably not.
I did not.
I watched it because it was funny.
I want to play like a drinking game with the next one.
Like every time Trump does this, you fucking drink or something like that.
Dude, there might not be another debate because the man got fucking COVID. Dude, what is this age we live in?
Yeah, it's fucking it's so crazy.
Have you seen the video? It came out like today of Trump like trying to breathe regularly and not cough, and he's like. Like he's
I didn't see that. All I saw was him put like, "I'm okay" and blah blah blah, and I guess never mind. He's not fucking okay.
It's crazy. Bro.
So weird. What one thing that like fucking irritates me with this whole thing, and me and you talked about it, like just messaging, was people are like, "Well, if you don't vote for Biden, then you're for Trump," and I'm like, "No, actually, I'm not. Like, it's not the case. I don't want either." Old ass fucking dudes in office because they don't have any new ideas.
I understand the idea of like just vote for Biden so that we don't have to deal with Trump again, but in my opinion, it's important for the vote to be an expression of how American people feel, and I don't feel like Biden is fit for president either.
No,
not that I think that the person I'm voting for is going to win, but there's a third party has never won. People still vote for him because you have to have that part of the opinion of the population.
Right.
Like, if voting is about like picking the worst of two evils, is it really democracy?
Right. I know. When you were talking at lunch that one day, that lady, I remember that lady is like, just pick the lesser of evils. I'm like, no, I don't want fucking either one, man. And it's so weird.
That was a minute ago too.
Yeah, it was.
Bro, literally like. JCCC feels like a lifetime ago.
It does, doesn't it? It really wasn't, but it fucking does.
A year.
That's so weird. I know, it's been a year, and it feels forever ago. What was I was gonna say something. Yeah, the third party, fuck, I can't even remember. It was kind of about, oh yeah, I remember me and you were both talking about Andrew Yang, because I was like, I seriously didn't think, I was like, I watched him and I was like, dude,
fucking rip.
Is anyone else like seeing this guy? Seems very smart. He's intelligent.
He's young, he's smart. He has futuristic logic in his ideas.
Right, exactly.
Dude, he
backed all this shit up.
He came in clutch this year too, because the conversation he brought up about universal basic income ended up being clutch for coronavirus.
Right.
Like, dude, this is one thing that blows my fucking mind. The fact that we, as in the Democratic Party, nominated somebody before COVID started. There was a nominee. We're like, this is our guy before the fucking world crumbles into bits, and then the resurgence of all of this Black Lives Matter stuff, all this political crazy shit's going on, and we picked Biden before anyone. If we could renominate, I think Andrew Yang would be like unanimous.
100%. I think it would.
Because people are like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to give people $1,000 a month, and now people are getting $600 a week in checks.
Right.
Like, it's obviously applicable.
Right.
So, dude, that shit gets me heated.
Right. Yeah, I never know what to say with that, because obviously I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to the economy. Like, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. So I can never say, like, I understand when people are like, I don't know, I feel like we couldn't afford it. But then, like, when I watch Andrew Yang, he was really backing it up. Like,
dude,
no, we can do this.
He has numbers for everything.
Right.
He knows exactly what the fuck is going on. He's no career politician where they're just doing it so that they're fucking...
Well, and he's not ingrained in the fucking... I mean, Trump's a different story, but Biden has been there forever. He's ingrained in this fucking political bullshit.
He is a career politician.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have the people's best interest in mind when it's your job to be a politician? Like,
yeah, we want someone new, someone fresh, someone not with all this other bullshit. Like, and Andrew Yang was the guy.
Age of technology, like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right, exactly.
Like, I fear for a fucking Biden presidency not just as much, but I have fears of that shit like I did with Trump. It's the same shit. It's another old white dude.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck
Doesn't
is
make
the
any
difference?
sense,
Like,
yeah.
They have polarized views, but Biden doesn't even have a platform that he really stands on.
No,
He's
he
just like,
doesn't.
I was Obama's friend.
That's what.
And
if you watch the fucking debate,
dude, he's such a fucking bot, bro. He just like
he really is.
He is like, I'm on the blue team. This is what the blue team likes. This is what I like.
Right.
It's the exact same shit.
Yeah, it is. When I watched the debate, don't get me wrong. The whole time I was like, fuck yeah.
Rest in peace to the laptop.
Yeah, rest in peace to my laptop. It shut off. I'm so sorry. I'm not this professional at it. But yeah, dude, I watched the debate just to fucking laugh my ass off.
Dude, you trying to link up for the next one?
Dude, I'm down or whatever. We could play a little drinking game of every time fucking
some shit.
Trump says something
my
stupid.
Dad said he was playing a bingo card.
Was he really?
Yeah, like certain things from each side to check off the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What a time to be alive.
It is a time to be alive, dude. Like Drake says, dude. Last thing, I know you're a Kanye fan. Is he gonna drop a fucking album or not, dude?
Dude, I don't fucking know. There's no way to know. That's the thing. Like, you know how bad I wanted Yandi?
What the fuck happened? Okay, I want to be honest. I don't know how you felt about the what was it, the one, the religious one?
Oh, Jesus King.
Jesus is King. I'm gonna be honest. I liked it because it was a brilliant album because it's Kanye. It was very brilliant, but I was just in general kind of like every time I hear like even though it's not technically Christian rap, but it is. I still was like you know.
Yeah. It's not as easy to consume. And he didn't do as much like mastering as he does on most of his other projects when it comes to production. I still enjoy it, but it's not on the level of most other Kanye albums.
100%.
But have you heard the single he dropped, "Wash Us in the Blood"?
Dude,
that
him and Dr. Dre,
so hard,
bro.
Dude, when I heard that, I was like, Kanye is still there. He's still in there, bro.
Dude.
And he could.
My favorite producer of all time, and no, it's not because I'm an M fan, but my favorite producer of all time is Dr. Dre, right?
Yeah, no, he's a beast.
He is a beast, dude. I think I always said this, that because no one liked, I liked Yeezus, but people didn't understand Yeezus, right? When it first came out, people didn't understand it. I was thinking this one time, and I'm pretty sure me and Marty had the conversation where I was like, dude, I think if Dr. Dre and collabed with Kanye on some Yeezus type shit, I think people would understand it better because they would have a little Dr. Dre would just clean it up,
right?
You know, in his way.
Dude, I think the thing about Yeezus though is that it's just fucking nasty.
It is.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that
production
too.
wise.
Yeah. Sorry, I totally, I misunderstood the.
Horny fuck.
I'm sorry. I have problems. I'm getting help.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Hey, that's all that matters as long as you get help. Me and Tiger Woods are in the same sex addict class. And Charlie Sheen.
He's got some cool shit to say.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Yeah, bro. Nah, there's no way to know when Kanye drops next.
Yeah, he fucking pisses me off.
To plug my own shit a little bit before we get this thing done.
Hell yeah.
This month, my boy Keenan is dropping an album. The Jiggy Tape Volume 2, or it might be a mixtape. I fucked that up. But I'm doing the merch for it. So I'm very excited about that. That album, I've heard it. I'm fortunate enough to be one of the people that has heard it.
Yeah.
Shit goes hard. It's cool to see somebody that I knew in high school, fully getting their album produced and all that shit.
Right.
And then other than that, hopefully I'll have another shirt coming out by the end of this month, but I never fucking know. I always delay my shit anyway, so.
Gotta make sure it's perfect, man.
Yeah, bro. I do not accept mediocre shit.
Fuck no, never. What? Where's the album coming out on? Like all platforms or
It
like?
should be. It'll be all platforms. Yeah.
And what was his name again?
Kino Reno.
Kino Reno. All right.
If you go to my Instagram, he's on my story right now. But
All right, bet.
I'll post something about it.
Fuck yeah. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much, Ike.
Yeah,
I had a
bro.
great fucking time.
Thank you for having me,
Dude. I love the freaking jacket. I'm gonna wear it as soon as it gets cold. I couldn't wear it earlier because I was sweating my balls off,
man.
but hell yeah. Take it easy, people.